Welcome to another episode of Good Earners Reviewing the Sopranos. Here on Good Earners, we like to talk about family, finessing, finances, and feelings in the world of Tony Soprano, bringing you a new perspective, a fly perspective, and a black perspective. Can we still say new perspective at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we can. Might as well.
I mean,
you wait until the end.
Right, like an old perspective. But nonetheless, this is Good Earners. I'm not alone. I'm Marius Hunter III. You may know me as Mo. I'm here with my two capos, Spike Lou, Big Rich Town. My guys, how you fellas doing?
What's happening with you,
what
man?
Up, though?
Here we are.
Here we are, boy. Woo-wee. We are 3 away. Well, by the time y'all hearing this, we 2 away. And we're gonna test out Rich's theory. He said from 2 episodes ago, he said every episode, what was it, 4 in a row or 5 in a row that you said was made?
5 of them.
5 of them. Okay. So we're gonna test out that theory and see what we get to today by the end of this episode. As y'all know, we're wrapping up soon, and we'll be, getting ready for another series in the fall or something like that. We'll keep y'all posted on that. But in the meantime, we're still working on this, so we got some more special things to bring y'all. If y'all want to reach out to us, goodearnerpod@gmail.com or goodearnerpod_Sopranos on Instagram. Speaking of that, we got some supporters of ours that wrote in various formats. So without further ado, we have, I don't have the brother's name. He hit me on Instagram. I don't know why I must not screenshot it. Let me see. Yeah, I don't think I screenshotted it, but he's a good brother. He know who he is. He says, good brothers, I've been catching back up on the podcast after a recent stroke. Currently on season 2, episode 12. Hands down, best and flyest perspective Sopranos content I've ever come across. Overnight warehouse shifts fly by as I get to hear Spike, Mo, and Rich break it down to the atomic base. Much love from Chicago, Trill Hobbs.
Glad you better, Trill.
Yeah, man. Speedy recovery for you, man. Thanks for the compliment, but most importantly, hope you're doing well. Continue to do well, man. Reach out whenever.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you.
Definitely. And thank you for letting us in your life in that way, just not just supporting the show, but letting us know an update on what you got going on, man. I've seen you supporting. You've written in a few times on the Instagram. So, man, keep your head up, Trill. And I'm so glad that you've come across our podcast. And hopefully we keep on doing that for you as you're in your season 2 bag right now. So by the time you're hearing this, which is crazy Matrix effect here, but
that's correct. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
But shout out to you, Trill, man. We got.
Wait, you do respond to these in real life, though, don't you?
It depends on what it is. Depends on what it is. Because
if somebody says something like they on season 1, would you respond in real time so they ain't gotta wait?
Like if you DM, see the DM is the tricky part.
That's what I'm saying. If you DM,
it depends on what it is. It depends on what it is. Like if it's something like a quick thing, I'm like, this is not worth. I may still bring it to the show, but most times I'll just save it.
No, I'm talking about to them in the DMs.
Sometimes I'll just save it. I won't even. Because it's hey, like
not even like a thank you.
Oh yeah, I hear some people like thank you. It depends on. It just all depends on. Because I just feel like it's show magic. Like it just feels like, yo, let's like, it's more lit. You on air, like we put you. I feel like it's. I know,
but did you respond to this? Did you respond to Trill, man?
Yeah, I did. I did respond to Trill. Yeah. Come on, like you can't tell me that type of information. I'll leave you out there. Like, all right, man. Hey, see you 4 seasons from now. Like, nah.
Hey, Mo, you hilarious, bro. Like I understand your logic behind everything, but you still hilarious.
I know. I'm one of a one, dude.
He said, some people,
what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
So we got a couple of comments actually on our Kennedy and Heidi. Excuse me. One from our guy Kiori. So he says, you guys, I did read these, some really interesting stuff. He says, you guys talking about the Somalian cyclist is one of the main reasons why I love this podcast. Y'all have such a unique perspective that the vast majority of Sopranos content creators do not have, and I always appreciate you bringing the Black perspective, especially as a fellow person of color. I agree that scene was pretty bullshit, and it definitely needs to be called out. Can't wait to see how y'all close the series out.
Appreciate you, Kiori, man. Thanks as always.
Appreciate it, Kiori.
Yeah, no doubt, man. We definitely that was just I didn't even want to. I wasn't gonna give it. We didn't give it for those that it's the scene where AJ and the other young Italian guys are whooping up the Somalian because he opened the car door and he got flipped over the that whole scene. I was like, bro, now this is just flat out racist. We've talked about that. We talked about it a little bit in the early part of the season with Tretch's character. Just certain things. It's all right, you going out your way, and we like I said, we laugh about our racism in here because everybody get it. But some moments it's I don't know, maybe it's distasteful, maybe you just need to explain the joke. I don't know. You need to do a better job than Vito did explaining the joke. So
it's a joke.
I was there.
I was there. Sal, come on. We got also another comment for our last episode, Kennedy and Heidi. It's from Trent C7329. He says, just want to share some white context about Chris messing with the radio. This was really good to me. He says the song playing is Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd. That song is like Let's Get It On for white folks getting high.
Oh, shit.
Oh, that ain't all. That ain't all. But I love this. Thank you. He says for white folks getting high. He said Chris keeps messing with the radio because he's feeling it in his bones. That song has the greatest guitar solo in history, and he knows it's coming up. And Tony keeps turning the radio down. It's harshing him, man. It's harshing him, man. He wants to vibe, but he's got to act straight in front of Tony. But he wants to hear the solo. I'll link a link to the live version so you can feel what I'm talking about. This shit is so iconic that the guitar that played on it sold for almost $4 million a few years ago. So he sent a link in here. I don't have my little speaker. I will play a little bit on the air for y'all, but he did send a link by, I think, David Gilmore, if I'm saying that right. Gilmeyer. But he sent a link to that, man. What do y'all think about that?
What's the name of the song?
It's called
Comfortably Numb.
Yeah, Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd.
I think it's dope. I just love that different perspective. Just what hits to a different culture. You know what I'm saying? Well, we know some of them, man. We know a lot of songs, that are just bops and bangers from the other side or different genres.
Yeah.
But the comparison of what's getting on, I get it. And it does put perspective into what Chris is going through. Bro, I'm trying to hear this. Not only am I trying to avoid your question, bro, this is my shit. Yeah. We all know that feeling.
Bro, that's just why I was about to get at.
Music is one of the most universal things, along with film, television, everything else. We all know that feeling of, bro, shut the fuck up. This is my shit, man. Turn it up.
Oh my God. Stop
this my part.
Cutting the damn radio down.
This my part, bro.
What you doing?
Yeah. So shout out, man. Chris?
Trent.
Shout out to Trent, man.
Trent C.
Scarface is a big Pink Floyd fan. That's how I discovered him. Yeah, Scarface fuck with Pink Floyd heavy.
That's dope.
Yeah, man. It's one of their. It looks like it's one of their top songs, and I love even the instrumentation. Right, the best guitar solo. He said. So I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, I am too. He got it, like you said. He got it in here. Actually, let me see if I can forward that to y'all with that in there, since it's already.
I'm about to say, I already got mine.
Oh, you already got it. Okay.
Yeah, I got it queued up. I got it queued up.
All right, but yeah, thanks, Trent. I love that, and I love the fact that you're so aware. You knew how to compare it to what's the reference to black people and what they I love that when people have enough depth to understand the correlation. So that's dope, Trent. Thank you, man.
No doubt.
We got a really interesting email. Now, this email is really interesting to me in the style of Mrs. Gwinnett. Y'all remember Mrs. Gwinnett?
Of course I do, man. Shout out to Mrs. Gwinnett.
Everyone is the best compliment we could get, right?
Yeah, from a teacher of I don't know, she said 20, 30 years. If I'm not giving you the right number, I apologize. But so this is the flip side. All right. So the subject line is a Gen Z perspective on The Sopranos. Rich, if you don't mind, can you pull up Gen Z? I want to see what the age group for Gen Zs are.
That's the one right before me.
Yeah, I got you.
Gen Z is right before millennials.
Baby boomers right before you, Spike.
I ain't that old, nigga. I thought Gen
Yeah.
Z right before millennials. So like
1997 to 2012.
Yeah, they after us. I mean,
Yeah,
that was
after us.
I'm talking about Gen X then.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So that puts it in perspective. So he says, "What up, good earners? My name is Quincy, and I've been watching the show since you guys were recording season 4. While I'm on my second watch of the show, long story short, I love your show. I listen to it every time I go grocery shopping to make the time pass. Congratulations on making it to season 6B, because boy, 6A is such a drag. Anyway, I'm hoping to make a video essay about The Sopranos in the near future, and I wanted to share the idea with you guys. As a Gen Z black guy, parentheses, I'm 22, born in 2002. I don't have a lot of friends my age that have watched the show. They either don't want to watch it because it's old, or because their parents watched it, or because they think it's highly offensive. I, on the other hand, think more Gen Zs should watch the show because of the end at the end concept. Today, the American dream seems to only be a dream to Gen Z. The Sopranos does a fantastic job depicting this through every generation of characters: Junior, Johnny Sack, Phil Leotardo, Richie Aprile being boomers, Tony being Gen X, Chris being a millennial, and AJ and Meadow being Gen Z. And of course, I have to mention A right with the alcohol scam he got into. I don't know. I don't know if he meant to say Artie, maybe. But he says I want to. But he says I want to. Yeah. Yeah, right. And he says, I want to explore how The Sopranos reflects the struggles of different generations and how those struggles echo into today's world. I'd love to hear what y'all think of the idea. Do you think The Sopranos speaks to younger audiences today? And do you think more Gen Zers would appreciate it if they gave it a chance? Either way, thanks for reading this, and keep doing what you do. I'm looking forward to Made in America and the infamous Cut to Black. Members only. Members only. When did you start wearing that? Much love, Quincy.
That was the teacher sitting that she forwarded that?
He's saying that's the flip side of what the teacher said. Like,
yeah. So he's like a student.
Okay. Got you. Yeah. I was kind of confused. Okay.
So I got.
I think that's a really good idea. What was his name?
Quincy Ross.
Quincy, I think that's a really good idea. I'd like to see it actually when you get done with it. If you want to send it to us.
I was just about to say, Quincy, I want to chop it up with Quincy.
Yeah, I'd definitely be interested in that. Even if we could get him on the back of the vein to talk about that concept, that would be a fire thing to do. But yeah, I think that's a really good idea.
Man, I'm thinking I just had another week in the books idea.
Hey, my guy, the
I told you that was a conversation I told you my guy called me and wanted to have. He Gen X, and he was mentioning, remember.
And then so that's a generation above and generation below.
That might be.
So y'all want
that's actually.
Go ahead. I was gonna say I was gonna give y'all the questions again specifically, but go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's just a brilliant. I mean, and at the end, especially when you look at what's going on right now, it just feels that way.
Yeah.
Me personally, as I get older, it definitely feels that way. It's not the same as it was when our parents' generation. It's just everybody, the norms, right? The norms that you were expected to have, they just don't seem so normal anymore. And we're getting further and further away from that. So yeah, that's a very interesting concept. And I'd love to hear more about that, or even, chop it up with y'all, or chop it up with you about what you're thinking and everything else.
Yeah, I would love to. This was so interesting to me because him being 22, obviously none of us are 22. None of us are in our 20s. But we remember being 22, and just the fact that, like, especially his generation in this time, like, I totally see what people be like, I don't get it. Like, we talk about all the time with people Spike age that was like, don't care for it. And that's that generation, and still be like, nah. So it's a very interesting thing that he found a way, especially when some things are just really foreign. Like at that 22, some stuff are so foreign to a person his age. So the fact that he actually really respects it, rocks with it, and he's on the second time, and then he chose to bring it to us. Really, really dope. The questions he asked, just briefly. The Sopranos reflects on struggles of different generations and how those struggles echo into today's world. He said, I'd love to hear what you think of this idea. So we already spoke about the idea. He said, do you think The Sopranos speaks to younger audiences today?
Yeah, of course. It actually breaks my heart that younger people aren't watching it. They probably are, but from his life, because it does speak to it, man. Some things are just timeless. Spike and myself had a conversation once about. I remember Spike directly asked me, like, are kids today watching Boys in the Hood? Like, are they watching some of those
society and things like that?
In the society, are they doing that? And my answer was, it depends on who raised them. Depends on who raised them and showed them what this is. Like, we all got set down at one point by OG, mom, dad, whoever, uncle, cousin. Spike tells a story about, was it your cousin that played that 8-ball MJG for you? Like, at some point, somebody's gonna sit you down and say, this is what you need to get hip to. And if we get away from that, man, that's just real sad, because The Sopranos is too good. The Wire is too good. As we get further away from Game of Thrones, it's too good. Breaking Bad is too good. It's going to last forever. That's why you can easily watch The Godfather and pick up so many jewels, even though them films came out in the 70s. Like, they're timeless. They're timeless films. You know what I mean? It's timeless music, all types of stuff. We just talked about Marvin Gaye a few comments ago. Like, there's certain things that just last the test of time, no matter what generation. I don't care how old you are. You know, if Let's Get It On come on, man, you got to feel something. And if you don't, I'm concerned about you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's
facts.
So, yeah, absolutely. It speaks to anybody can watch this. And I think they should. You get a lot more wiser. And we always talk about it, right? You can watch it at 22, then you can watch it at 30, then you can watch it at 35. Like, it's going to change each time. It's got so many, it's not some bullshit, gimmick TV show.
Yeah, that's the thing about that generation. That was a really good point, Rich. I do think that generation should be watching. I do think it is generational and timeless stuff, and it's one of those things where, as you go through more in life, you will understand and appreciate more of the perspectives on this show. That's why it's so good. That's why The Wire is so good. Like Rich just said, like, not to be a parrot, but when you're 22, you know certain stuff, and you're gonna watch this and you're gonna apply that certain stuff to it and be like, okay, I get it. Then when you're 32, you know a lot more stuff. You've been through more stuff, and then you're gonna get a totally different perspective from it, just from what you've gone through. So yeah, I do think kids should watch it. I do think it is generational. Shout out to him.
Yeah, I absolutely, everything. Y'all said everything that could be said as far as that go. I
was real quick, man. I saw something on Twitter today. Wayno's a hip hop person, and I guess he was in the camp of Neef, who was on the Young Guns, and he was telling this story about Neef getting caught with a gun charge at the Tribeca Film Festival, and getting a message from Jay-Z saying, "Man, Jay-Z want to talk to y'all," and pretty much saying, "Man, you don't know what your role is." Blah blah blah. I'm not gonna get into the whole thing. My point was, and I tweeted this, and it's got some retweets and likes. It was more so, it reminded me of the conversation. And if you ever watched The Wire, the very first episode of The Wire, the very first time we met Avon, that conversation with him and D'Angelo, that you ain't said one motherfucking thing I'm trying to hear. That scene, right? It's just one of those moments, and I'm thinking, here is a real life instance where I remember seeing that on The Wire, and those things can relate. And that's why I said, that's why people can comment, retweet, repost, whatever, because they understand if you've seen that. That shit came out in 2002, the same year Quincy was born. And there's still people that still can refer to that. I can draw back to that scene directly because it relates to life. It doesn't matter what year it is, how old it is. That scene Avon had with D'Angelo, nigga, what the fuck is you doing, bruh? Like, how do you not know how to navigate this situation? And talking them through it, and just the understanding of who this character was and how life works, how you should be handling. Like, just because you a gangster don't mean you got to do gangster shit like shooting someone. There's other ways to get out of this, man. So I don't know. I just say all that to say all this shit's timeless.
I definitely ain't coming behind that response. I think he hit on those. Yeah, man, get back to us on your report or your, what you come up with. Does definitely sound like a great back of the bean conversation, talking generations in regards to Sopranos, because they even referenced it in this episode too. So definitely get back with us, Q. And last,
that wire pod gonna go up. This shit gonna go crazy.
they probably like, bro, y'all just do the wire.
Nah.
It's gonna be the Mona. It's gonna be the Mona Lisa.
Yeah, for real. Sistine Chapel, man. Michelangelo.
All right, so we got some more comments. Like I guess Kennedy Heidi people just really was rocking with. I mean, obviously it's one of the most synonymous, biggest episodes of Sopranos. So comment from Riff Raff. He left a few comments. He says, "I love this podcast. Keep it up over here. Keep your eye on the tiger." Then he also says, "Your glorified crew started with 2. I see you opened the books. I love the addition. I hope they got their fingers pricked." He must have go way back. I remember him like writing in early. Now that Riff Raff, that does come back to mind. Like he was one of the early supporters of ours, but like I guess he hadn't caught up to the fact that Rich is, obviously been on here way more than not being on here at this point. Can't picture it any other way. But yeah, the books are closed though. Let's just be very clear. This is it. These 3. Another one. So GS Money Baby hit us up. Everybody coming out the woodwork. I told you, as soon as you start saying, hey, it's about to come to it, we're in at the end, people come in. He says, "Hey fellas, great episode, review and commentary, and a good character send off to Chris. I know I'm in the minority, but I thought Chris gave Tony good advice about 25% asbestos removal fee to Phil. I'm in agreement with you, GS. He says, "I know we love Tony, but he was in the wrong here regarding the situation. Phil was in charge of Barone Sanitation, and he has the right to up the price of the brick like Marlo did the co-op. Even if Tony felt like he was getting Lil Bro'd on by Phil, the sad truth is New Jersey is Little Bro of New York. In basketball terms, Phil's Knicks got banners in New York, while Tony's Nets never even sniffed the conference finals. But I agree on you guys' view on Chris. Shake my head. Dude could have been a Kobe to Tony's MJ, but ended up being Kwame Brown crying in the car while being an overprivileged made man. Keep up the great work. Keep the great and hard work, and looking forward to the next episode. Salute."
That was a good synopsis right there.
Absolutely, man. Great. That was great.
Yeah. He's not Kwame. He's not Kwame. I get the joke, but he's not Kwame. Chris not Kwame.
Was he Harold Miner?
Was he Bynum?
Harold Miner?
Yeah, I like that one.
Brandon Roy.
Brandon Roy's too good.
Yeah, Brandon Roy, because Brandon Roy had greatness, but he was cut short by injuries.
Yeah.
You think Chris was cut short by his addiction?
I think so. You see how busy he was really about to get? Like, he wasn't even showing up to things because he was still bringing envelopes. I think he's like Brandon Roy.
I think it is Harold Miner, man. I'm trying to think before Chris. So season 2, when he went to Italy, is when the drug use really started taking off. When you knew it was more than just a casual going out, type shit.
Yeah.
And I don't think he did anything before that to make me think.
That's fair. Because Roy came out the gate.
Like Penny Hardaway before the injuries, he was first team All NBA.
Got you. Okay.
You know what I mean? He was on his way. Brandon Roy, multiple times.
He was out the gate.
Chris had promise.
Harold Miner had promise, like he could dunk. People calling him Baby MJ and all this shit, but he never quite. He was like Luther Curl.
Okay.
Yeah, he just couldn't live up to it. He couldn't live up to his own hype, and I think that's the same way with Chris. But that was a great email.
That was a great email, man. Shout out to you, GS Money Baby. Been rocking with us, I think, all 6 seasons. And lastly, Shot Caller TV also left a comment on this, Kennedy and Heidi. "The convo about racism in this episode was great. The fact that at the same time on HBO, another crime show written by 2 white men did such a better job of writing black people just makes David Chase and his team look even worse. They should have been taking notes."
Facts. Talking about The Wire, obviously.
That's crazy. That when you put it in that perspective, it really make you like, bro, what are you doing?
But they were around black people though. They actually worked in that police department. That's why it was so authentic. But I think David Chase's problem, he's just not around enough black people.
Yeah, that's it.
He just don't know enough black people.
100%.
Yeah.
And you can tell that in the documentary too.
Oh my God. Anyway, y'all know what we did on that. Go listen to Back of the Bean when we talked about Made Man. Doc. But without further ado, Spike Lee, what episode we reviewing today?
Mo? We three away, 3 down, 2 to 2 to 0. This is episode 19 of season 6, entitled "The Second Coming." Lil Carmine comes up and tries to broker a peace treaty between New York and New Jersey due to the tensions rising high. Phil wasn't trying to hear that shit, said send your ass back to Jersey. AJ is going through it this episode, and we see what he does about it. Meadow got a little cream on her lips. Tony got to go. Tony had to go. Tony had to go see about that, and that really escalates the war between New York and New Jersey. This is season 6, episode 19, entitled "The Second Coming."
Oh man, that's why they got a little cream. Oh man,
cream
cracking brains
crazy.
over here. Yeah,
nuts.
Nuts. But we get
how you think that was gonna turn out, my nigga?
I don't know what this nigga was nuts.
It slick turned out better than it should have, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get there. We get there. So there's a quick opening scene. The asbestos is shown in the middle of, what is this, Jersey or New York?
Yeah, that looks like Jersey. That looks like Newark in the background.
Okay. I don't got nothing to add to that. They just, obviously it's just a piece to play into, like, what's the inevitable. AJ wakes up, and the family, he's playing Chameleonaire Riding Dirty.
I've been pissed. That's a terrible way to wake up. And I ain't even gonna front on Chameleonaire, because if you were around, Chameleonaire had a mixtape run. Mm-hmm. That was like a real thing. So I don't want to front on it, but mainstream Chameleonaire.
Nah.
If I was Tony, I'd be mad as hell.
Yeah, they played this song out crazy. And then it's the fact that, like, the tie back to the Somalian guy. You see me rolling, they opening doors. You know what I mean? Like, bro.
That's in the song?
Nah, bro. That's what happened last episode with the black dudes riding the bike. The dude opened the door. Remember that? That's what we were. This is You See Me Rolling. Like, bro.
Stretch Armstrong over here.
I don't know. That feels fitting. I feel like you doubling down on the, like, rolling thing. Like, all right, bro, we got it. But
all right.
Like, asshole, bro. David Chase, bro. He's like, oh man. He had that man.
I wonder what time it is, man. King. Like, you just like this, the lack of respect just waking up at my house, just banging music as soon as you get up, bro.
Yeah.
My foot would have been in AJ ass, man.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a nasty way to wake up.
It is.
Facts.
But yeah, Tony comes downstairs and he has a gift. He got a gift sent to the house, and it opens it up, and on the engraving, it's a watch for Carmela. It says, "You are my life, T," which is obviously a callback to season 1 when he says, "You're not just in my life, you are my life." When they were sitting on the pool chairs, so I like that kind of that wrap around, that tie in. I thought that was really, really dope. Yeah, so I had nothing much to add to that. Anything y'all want to add to this, like, morning scene with their interaction with Tony and Carmela?
Only thing I found funny is when Carmela said, "I still don't know what it's for." Like that, the fact that when she gets a gift, it has to be what
you did something.
You do. Yeah. This isn't her first time doing that. I just think it's fascinating that they're at that point, and
bro. This next scene. So, good call, Rich. That's a good one, yeah. Bobby pulls up on the guys, the asbestos guys to collect, and they discuss the disgust on Bobby's face. Like, bro, I never noticed this. I always just thought about the envelope line, but like he was trying to shake up with him. He was like, man, I don't work with that shit. But he was sitting there like, still like, nah, bro, I'm not. Like, this could have been a great COVID meme. But
I look at people's hand. I look at people's hand like that now when I straight up, bro. Give me the fist pump. Yeah, they come in trying to shake your hand and shit. Now you like,
bro, this is like the scene on Blue Street. Remember the white dude was scratching his balls, and Martin had seen him down there. He tried to shake his hand, bro. That always made me think differently about shaking certain said person's hand. But yeah, pretty much that. And he's basically not gonna shake his hand, and we find out they hire Ecuadorians. Whatever happened there? Y'all got any info on what that means, or
just
I
probably
think it's because of the contract. Yeah, go ahead, Swank.
Just probably illegals that they gonna take the job anyway. You know what I'm saying? Just pick them up at Home Depot or something.
Yeah. Then he was just like, bro, you ain't got an envelope.
Yeah, man, what you doing? But that's another very small thing, but another one of those in at the end things. Like, how does this even happen? That would have never happened back in the day. You know how this works, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you don't forget your envelope or you figure something out. Like, you don't just hand over a wad of cash with it. Like,
think about it. You can have feds watching and you're passing a wad of cash. Like, they're organized crime, so the envelope could be anything. But a wad of cash.
And you working with asbestos. Cover that shit up.
Man, that was funny. Then we go to AJ in therapy, and he talks about what they did to the Somalian. Is that? I think that's. I'm saying that, but he kept going back and forth, calling him Somalian African kid. This session, it seems to kind of mirror Tony and Melfi scenes. We see Livia coming out of AJ, and we obviously see the putrid soprano gene is really in effect. Just a lot of emphasis on the African kid, but who cares about these sessions? Anything I want to add to this, bro?
I think it's interesting.
Go ahead, Spike.
It's interesting in Melfi's session how she says Tony is the guy who. Why do you feel like you gotta like save the day every time? And in his session, AJ is like, I'm just one person, right? Like, how was I supposed to stop it? So I thought that was a very interesting dynamic.
Great callback, actually. What was you gonna say, Rich?
I was just gonna mention that it just puts you into AJ's mindset as well. Just what he's going through, and just the fact that he's taking everything personal. He's taking every single issue in the world as it's something that he should be affected by.
Yeah, which
you know what I mean. It's funny because I know Spike is watching, or he has watched it. White Lotus season 2, not the new season, but season 2. There's a moment when.
Bro, it's so crazy. We just did. That's why I was running late. We did a review on that shit. It ran damn near 2 hours today, just because of all the shit to talk about it.
White Lotus season 2 was incredible, man. That was my shit. But I only bring it up because there's a small moment when there's two couples that's on this trip together, and one of them, she's Puerto Rican, if I'm not mistaken, and she was mentioning like, all the stuff going on in the world. The other two couples are like, what are you talking about? Like they're so rich and privileged, they have no idea about the regular shit that people go through. Like, if this ain't affecting our day-to-day life, our rich lifestyle, what? Other people got problems. The world's fucked up. What are you talking about? Like, this is news to me. Like, so it's two different mindsets, and it's funny because they have that, and AJ's taking all this shit on personally, but they would never look at it as that. And AJ's in that position like them. He has the lifestyle of them to where he doesn't have to care about none of this shit. Like, I could just be in this mansion on these cars. I could beat up the Somalian, like laugh about this shit, man. My dad's a mobster, don't give a fuck about no other issue.
Yeah, these are like privilege problems, and it's. I'll just speak a little bit to it here. It really comes in when they have the full session. When Rich get back in, but it really speaks to when they have the full session where Carmela comes in and Tony comes in later in this episode. It's the same thing where you look at Tony's not doing it. I mean, AJ's not doing anything different than what Tony does in the sessions. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Like, I think that's an intentionality. It's like he's complaining about things. He's got issues. He's like, a miserable prick. Everything Tony is. But, obviously Tony's older, more seasoned. But it's just, again, I've said this numerous occasions, but y'all trying to make us care about AJ now. And I get that, he's like 20 years old, about to be 21, or if he just now turned, he all of a sudden you kind of mature up, you kind of change a little bit, but he's just there. It's like we don't care. Like, we don't care about AJ. We didn't get enough investment. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what they could have done. Like, we've had this conversation a million times, so I'm not gonna belabor, but it's just we don't care. Yeah, I know a lot of podcasts are going like, see, here's the deepness about AJ's session, because Like we don't care, nigga.
The
like,
voice is crazy.
What would they do, Mom?
It's the see.
Why they sound like that?
It's this existential crisis that when you look at the AJ and man, come on, bro. Like, all right, like knock it off. Like, let's keep it a beam. So whatever. But I will say this. Only thing I will say, taking AJ out of it, but the scenario of when you get exposed to like, oh, there's all these things happening in the world, like because you're in bliss as a kid. You're in this, you're sheltered to some extent. Even if you're in the hood, you're still sheltered to some extent. You have no idea what's on the other side of all these things that exist and happen. And so I do understand at least like, damn, like, how am I supposed to even be positive when all these things are happening? It's not articulated well with this character, but I do understand that like thought of when you watch the news for the first time for real and everything's starting to happen. You're like, bro, how am I supposed to have a good day, nigga, when, so, but again.
And to be honest, you wouldn't even care nothing about this shit if you wasn't broke up with Blanca. None of this shit would have mattered to you, bro. You still had your knees, your nose head up her ass.
Yeah.
Nose first.
So. Hey, listen, speaking of White Lotus, bro, that season 1 nose up the ass.
Yeah, that shit wild.
Bro. All right, that was just, I just seen that.
How did they do that?
Method acting. Bro, you had to commit. You got to commit.
Yeah, you had to be in there for real. Like, it wasn't no...
Listen, yeah, like that is. That's why I was like, bro, what about watching? I don't think I would get past this season because I was like, bruh. Anyway, but
would you like to find out?
Oh shit!
Crazy. Let's
you
party.
Ain't seen. You got more. You got more coming. Pause.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But yeah, so I'll leave it there with the AJ thing. But again, who cares? We go to Tony is back at Satrial's, and we see a framed picture of Chris, which is a shot of him during the shooting of Cleaver.
Tony disgusted.
And what does he have on in this? It's the freaking Cleaver hat again. Bro, remember we kept talking about this hat, and it's like there's something about that Cleaver hat, and Tony. So it's just the funniest thing. Chris don't even wear hats like that. He died in that hat. So there's a few different things going on here, but I thought the ball in your court first, Spike. What you gather from this? Tony's back after his trip from Vegas, and they're having this interaction with the guys and everything.
First, I found it interesting the book that Seal was reading. Like, who the fuck sits down and read how to clean practically anything? Like that was, I've always noticed that as I was watching this, and I never had a full understanding of it. But him acclimating himself back to the crew, we showed that he's still disgusted with Chris and that whole thing. No remorse. He feels like a load is lifted off his shoulders. You can even tell by how he's acting in the back with the guys. Like, he's in good spirits. People are expecting, they don't know what to expect. And he's like, shit, everything was great. It was a great trip. Like, not no somber shit at all. And that nobody really called it out or picked up on it. I don't think so either.
That's a fact, man. Chris, Tony just discussed it with it. He said that picture of Chris, and it's like, man, what the fuck? Like, if you look at the difference between the bar in New York, right? When you got Carmine and Big Carmine and Johnny Sack, Billy, Leotardo, you know what I mean? That means something. Phil was just having the family over to commemorate his birthday. This is going to be a big thing. And Tony looked like, man, I'll burn this whole motherfucker down just to get rid of this picture. Like, that's how I feel. Like, and like Spike said, man, my nephew just died with me. There is no mourning period. Like, man, I'm back, man. I did peyote, man. I'm good. Like, fuck this nigga. And once again, more of the end concept. Who the fuck is you talking about? You did ecstasy once and you was like, who are you?
Yeah.
I hear somebody. Are you talking? Somebody talking? Somebody talking?
Somebody talking?
Like, just more of that, like, we got these new people and new faces. Like, what the fuck is going on, man?
Yeah.
So, like I said, they've been sprinkling it all throughout. But if people we ain't never seen showing up in the past few episodes, just let you know what time it is.
Yeah, just new people all backing around. And my man did the same thing, too. I ain't got no envelope. Like, bro, what?
Well, he was telling, and that's another thing. I'm glad you said that, Spike, because, dude didn't have no envelope, but why are you delivering this to Tony with no envelope? You got an envelope. Go put this shit in an envelope. Why are you putting it on him? Why are you putting it on him like, oh, he ain't had no envelope, so fuck it? No. Nigga, you get the envelope, you do his job, you cuss him out. That's how chain of command works, especially in this thing of theirs. His problem ain't that. The fact that he ain't had no envelope ain't got shit to do with you handing me this money without an envelope. You know better, but you a new motherfucker.
Hell, that and Tony, but look, Tony even embraces because he even like I don't really care. Like
time for that shit.
We're in such an era right now where like, bro, they're barely hanging on to like their oath, like, which I'll speak to a little later about when Chris said that. But Tony tells the guys that he did a trip doing peyote, and Carlos said has a good straight joke for Bobby with the stuffed mushrooms. I thought that was like a good little straight joke on Bobby. Which could maybe be a callback to when Bobby said, I wish I could be sitting on my ass all day smoking mushrooms, collecting government checks. You know, could be, may not be. A little Stretch Armstrong there. And then we find out that, it's a subtle thing, we find out the stance Phil has taken hasn't changed. And Seal says that they should probably see Phil. The crazy part is like the luxury of the sit down is about to be removed. Like, you know, it's amazing, you know. And then Paulie, of course, he has this story back in '68 doing drugs, you know, or X or whatever he said he was doing. He said, I turned over your Uncle Jude.
And he was doing acid.
He's doing acid, lasers. Yeah. I see lasers.
Laser beams shooting out his fucking eyes.
And it's so funny because it's such an afterthought, too. That's what makes it funny. They just cut off right there. So we go to the next scene, and Kelly's eating with the Sopranos, and they talk to Kelly about her loss. And, you know, Tony says, hey, if you need anything, I'll be over there right away.
Telling y'all, man.
You think you
Come
think
on, man. What? Nigga, okay. And I don't even like this motherfucker. I would 100%. I would have fucked Abe. Because I have
the love of his life.
The only reason I didn't, because I halfway still fucked with you, and I knew it was gonna be a bad look. I was a different Tony back then. Now you ain't even here, nigga. What?
Yeah. And she's a gorgeous woman. She's gorgeous.
What's that Pusha T line, man? Split his bills to talk about who can fuck his bitch the best. That's what Tony on right now, man. Call me anytime, I will be right over it. And I swear, on that a couple trips, I saw you pull that titty out of my living room before I went to Vegas.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Hey, but for real though, I swear I thought that though. I said nah, and then you put in perspective with the Adriana thing. It was like the love of his life, and then like shooting a subtlety in front of your wife is crazy, dude. Like, hey, anytime I like.
Just to say I did it. Chris don't even gotta know, man.
Oh, it's still you made You made a revenge film about me. It's still up, bro. Tony, it's still up. I went all the way to Vegas to show you it's still up.
I literally just saw a post today. It was a meme that said, I just got my lick back from April 7th, 2016. Man, stop playing with me. Some people like that.
Yeah. Tony on that young boy type stuff. You know how the young boys be doing crazy stuff now when people be gone. Tony was on that vibe with Chris. He was like, nah, we're going all the way to Vegas. We're making some things happen out here, and we still coming, you know. Somebody gotta explain that to me though. I still never quite understood that. Why I don't know. He needed to get away, but why link up with her? I guess I just didn't. I don't know. That never made sense to me.
He probably always wanted to fuck her. You know, Chris had her out there, act like he was going out there to tell her Chris passed. Made his move.
Okay, he didn't know what she looked like, but he was like, shit, I know it's one of Chris' old work. I got to get away anyway. I'm about to look her up while I'm here. And it has to be obviously somebody that Chris talked about. That's one thing I actually love, one of those subtle moments. Like it makes the world more real. Because we've never heard of this woman, but obviously Chris has talked about her enough to where Tony knew where to go, where to find her, all of that. So this is somebody that's real in his life, even though we have no idea who she is as viewers. Like I said, it just makes the world more realistic.
I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's dope.
And Chris stayed with a baddie too, so I really, you know, like that locks in. Like when that conversation he had, I think it was season 4 when him and Paulie, when he first got made and he had to start, you know, don't blame it on me because you got the short bag. But he was talking about like he didn't have to pay for sex. Like when Paulie pulled up on him, like the fact that Chris don't have to like do the extras. I still like that all for some reason lingers in my head. I'm like, no, Chris is really pulling like that. Anyway, so yeah. And then the only thing is, there's one thing Tony says, AJ comes down and he ruins the mood. And I gotta ask y'all, bro, like, do y'all got friends or people that you know like this, that these digs you know type friends?
If I do, I don't hang out with them anymore.
Okay. Okay.
Man, Spike posted some shit from TK Kirkland today, man. Like the older you get, the people's energy that you around on the regular, like
it
that's
matters.
what you care about. It makes it very easy for you to be like, you know what, I don't want to be around this. And I know AJ's going through things, so I don't want to trivialize his mental state.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
bruh, like we sitting here eating dinner, and you talking about stop.
Them spraying the ground beef, like.
And to Tony's point, like, bro, we spent years trying to get you to read and care about shit, and now you finally doing it. You're annoying all of us with it,
bruh. 20 years to get you to crack a book open, and now all of a sudden you're authority. Like, man, get out. Maybe you don't get out of my face,
man. It goes to Spike's point also, man. Just a common courtesy, bro. It's early in the morning. Why are you blasting your music, bro? We eating. Why are you talking about this shit, bro? We in the middle of eating. If you want to have this conversation, wait till we done at least.
Yeah. We go to the next scene in AJ in class. Only thing I call out is this is obviously where the title of the episode comes from. WB Yeats, The Second Coming, which is written on the chalkboard. What the teacher wrote. I don't care. I don't got nothing to add there. Then we go to AJ reading the Norton Anthology of Poetry. And again, AJ reading a poetry book.
Just don't seem real.
Bro, when did you, like, what are you on? Pick a struggle, dude. Like, I'm sorry, pick a struggle. Like, anyway. Y'all got anything I want to add to the scenes at class or AJ reading this anthology poetry book? Okay. Listeners, if y'all want it, y'all got some like deep dive on that by any means, send it to us. Y'all know this ain't that type of pod, but any means, come on with it if you got it. Tony, I never get this other agent's name for some reason. I know it's not Grosso.
Just call him Packer.
Packer?
Or was that his name in House of Cards?
Doug Stamper.
Stamper. All right.
Stamper, yeah.
So Agent Harrison Stamper, Agent Harrison Stamper come to visit Tony, and I just got to ask y'all, what's y'all read on them two? Like the way they're talking to Tony and like how they wasn't able to get the intel locked in, like on the guys that Tony gave them. What's the read on their emotion right here? Because it was a hard read for me a little bit.
I think a little bit of it was, so Tony, see, the way I look at this and Tony's whole cooperation, obviously we talked about the mob part of it, right? What can you do for me if I were to give you some information? But there's also some concern. We've seen this from Tony before. I forget what episode it was when everybody was asleep and Tony was sitting there watching something at the crib about terrorists and the ports. It was the ports, right? They can smuggle anything through the ports and blow us up. Like he's always cared about this type of stuff. So this is concerned citizen, father, I would say husband, but he don't really give a fuck about being a husband. No. This is all of that more so than mobster Tony, right? That's him giving himself permission to talk to these dudes about this because I'm a concerned American. I want to make sure there's no bullshit going on if I have some information. I think from their point of view, it's like, all right, I don't know if you playing that role. I don't know if you being a mobster. I don't know which way it is. So we might use some scare tactics and tell you this could be this, it could be that. That way, if you really do have some info, bro, give it to us.
Yeah.
Because this ain't the time. Like, this motherfucker might not be in the country. We might lost contact with him. And they might be up to some real shit. He might be financing shit. And you know Tony knows we done hooked this dude up with guns. Like, what the fuck is going on? So it might be a little bit of cat and mouse because there's no other reason for them to tell Tony in casual content. Actually, there's really no reason for them to be there. Like, what do you want? They ain't even come for no information. So I think it was a way for them to just try to see, like, yo, if you got anything to say, let us know because we lost track of these dudes and they might be some dangerous people. And they intentionally show him the photos of them with the headgear. Like, so now you don't look so normal. You don't look like the dudes that came to the Bean that was looking at girls, pouring drinks, giving toasts and shit, trying to fuck something. Now you look like what they show you on TV, a terrorist trying to blow up and fuck up your home. Nah, for real.
Nah, you so real.
I think that's part of all of this. I think that, you know, because it always seems confusing when we get towards the end, this whole relationship with Harris and Tony, because it's like, why the fuck are you helping now? But I think that's what I've concluded during all this shit.
Yeah, same here. They was there to plant a seed. Like, don't hold back on us, bro. Like, you know what's going on out here, and if you got information, give us the information. Like, just to make it more just at the front of Tony's mind versus being somewhere else. Like if he sees something saying something later down the line, or maybe I know something, they looking for him to say something now or in the next coming days. Like, hey, like this is going on out here. It's for real. So, and
Yeah,
they playing to everything that Rich said about him being an American and a father and all of these things.
yeah.
There's a quote in Paradise, man. That the world is 19 times more fucked than what people think it is. And I always think about stuff like that. I think that's what they think in this scene. Like we know so much information. If we told you all of it, your head would explode. So we ain't gonna do that. But this is our way of saying, bruh, tell us what you know.
Mm-hmm. And almost to me, I almost kind of a little different. Like kind of like your stuff may have not checked out. So that 5K letter we talked about, you're gonna have to do a little better. That's the way I kind of. He ain't outwardly say because you're not about to really threaten a mobster. Like Harris ain't never really been the threatening type with Tony from season one, but it kind of felt like that 5K letter ain't gonna be anything if we can't get a little more. That's kind of where I read it. But I like what y'all said. That's probably just like my little 2 cents on it. And now we get to the scene that by far we have waited on from the moment me and Spike have been bringing up the entry of Phil Leotardo. This is the scene that we have waited. This is we're getting close. This might be, maybe this is, could we consider this scene, this is the sit down with Phil. Do y'all consider this Phil's arc? Is this the highest Phil goes?
The highest field goals. Personally, I think the opening, not opening, but it's like one of the first 3 scenes next week. Couple of 3 things.
Okay. Couple of
Yeah, I think we still got some stuff to see for
But I
his
think
art.
Phil's the origin of it. I always reference it. It's that moment at the bar, like Leotardo, Leonardo Leotardo. That's when Phil turned into this Phil.
Yeah. But Phil brings up the grieving process, and it's crazy. He says it like it takes a little bit of time, but he doesn't even realize Tony ain't grieving at all, and then so Tony comes back with the same offer. I don't know if y'all noticed that, of the 15%, and then he brings up again with the vitamins. He's waving the vitamin truck thing again, and then Phil says he rejects it, and he said, man, maybe we need to talk in private. He's like, no, I ain't no need to talk in private. So Tony tries to get at Phil on some humanity type vibe, and Phil says this is a business. Then hits the nigga with Charles Schwab over here.
All them bullshit laughs, man.
Hey, listen, but they was glad to see they mans getting to it, because you remember when old boy ate off his plate. Of course, they whacked him later, but like that look Book she had when Phil, he's like, you don't eat that, and he already had his fork over there, and Phil let him get it off. Like the look on his face, so. But yeah, for those that don't know, Charles Schwab, he's a finance executive and investor. Well, I didn't know who Charles Schwab was, so I don't know.
You didn't know who he was
Charles Schwab? You never heard of Charles Schwab?
I seen Schwab, the name Schwab somewhere, but like I don't know.
That's funny, man.
It don't affect my day to day, so I don't know. Shout out to White Lotus, but Tony, yeah. But anyway, so let's get into it, man. Like, where y'all want to go with this scene? Because it's one of the best scenes ever in television and one of the best scenes in this show. Oh man,
you're flexing. This is definitely a flex by Phil. This is Phil saying like, look, bro, all that buddy John Sacramone shit that you had going on, that shit over with. Like when he said it wasn't whatever it was my position. Like this ain't a negotiation, bro. This how shit finna go moving forward. All that coming over here talking like this, like we're not doing that anymore. I'm at this place in my life. I ain't fucking with y'all. And everything that I roll out the pipeline is what you finna have to accept, or we finna get somebody else in charge over there. That's how I feel looking at it. It ain't no coming up, popping up. He even asked him when he said it. He said, what brings you over here to the city? Like, nigga, you know what I came over here for. I didn't just pop up and roll up on your spot. You know what we're coming to talk about, and you still trying to act like, oh, well, what are you doing here? So this is Phil flexing his muscle.
Facts, man. I don't know. This is Phil saying, I don't even know how it got to this point of where you thought that you had a say in this, that you thought this was a negotiation. Like you were my little nigga.
Yeah.
You are my little nigga. Like that's what you are. Like there is no
I own you, nigga.
input. Yeah, there is no input. There is no suggestions. This is me telling you what it is, and this is you abiding by that. 25% is not an offer. Like that's my position. That's what all this moving forward. That's how all this shit works. If I say 50%, that's what it's gonna be. If you say no, oh well, fuck you. We New York. We gonna make sure we make ends meet.
Mm-hmm.
You not so much. This is how it always should have been. I don't respect you. Fuck you.
You won't compromise? How about this?
How about this?
20 years in the can, I wanted man to go.
What? What do you compromise for?
I compromise.
I
ate grilled cheese off the radiator.
Hey, talk that, bro. Listen to me. If I ever heard battle rap bars, bruh, this is perfect battle. For people that watch battle rap URL, like the back end, not like this era, but like the era before, like it's always whoever struggled the hardest, like, oh, shout out to Sue Surf. These are battle rap bars.
And this conversation actually reminds me of something that Spike mentioned on deck this past week when they were talking about the Black Sam incident at the opening of the Marathon Burger. Bro, sometimes there's just a moment where there's nothing to say. You just gotta listen and get up out of there. Like Tony even explaining, like, do we need to talk in private? Well, in front of it, like at this point, you should realize like this is not going to go any. Like you're not gonna say this and Phil's gonna be like, oh man, you know what? You're right. I should look at it like that. You should read the room and know this isn't gonna get you anywhere except for a joke made at your behalf. Charles Schwab over here, like, bruh, Phil is at where he's at.
I'm laughing at you.
Back to yes. Now your next steps are to go back to Jersey, tell the whole crew, tool up. Nigga, this is what it is, because this is what it's gonna have to come to. Nah, seriously, this is what it's going to come to. This meeting just to let me know there's no talking to Phil. There's no negotiation. The only way to get good business is to get a new leader, and it's time to get to it. That's all that means. I can't believe Tony even went down that path of saying, "Man, we shared a moment in the hospital." He don't give a fuck about none of that.
Yeah, he really tried to finesse. That was a terrible angle. But it's funny because we go back to a previous sit down where Chris had made a suggestion of Johnny's sack, and he was like, that's where we get the famous line. I remember we used to sit in the car. Like, and now we go here, Chris, last episode, sitting in the car, makes the suggestion. I think you should just give Phil the 25. You know what I mean? And now we see, because Tony didn't, we'll see all it transpires. So the one time Chris finally makes a suggestion, he was actually right. That's the irony in his send-off.
That's the thing, man. He wasn't right. This is a lose-lose. Tony can't just give the 25 because next time it's 35. Then the time after that is 40. Then it's fit. Like it's just gonna go up. Phil is once you bend the knee once, it's a wrap. Like he really couldn't do anything. Like it had to end. It had to go to they had to go to the mattresses when it was all said and done. There was no other way out of this. That there just wasn't. There was nothing there's nothing Tony was gonna offer or say to Phil that was gonna be like, all right, bet, let's make good business. Unless it was something sentimental, like something very.
Yeah, well, Tony could have found a way to up the brick on a connection that he's over. Like I feel like until they had to sit down and compromise.
And then we coming at your doorstep.
That's what I'm saying. That's what he's saying though, Mo. Like even if Tony finds a way to pay the 25%, it's only gonna get worse. If you make this compromise, and this is why Chris is not a boss, and why I disagree with just giving him 25%. Tony is looking from a boss standpoint. Chris is looking at it from a worker. Chris is looking at it, okay, let's just get rid of the problem, give him what he wants. Tony is forecasting ahead. And by me forecasting ahead as a leader, I have to understand if I give him this now, it's going to be, as Rich said, it's going to be 35 next time. And y'all going to continue to put your fucking thumb on the scale until I can't even earn no more. So you have to say no. There's no way that you can say yes here.
We'll agree to disagree, but I think y'all make some compelling points. And I think also that's
like if you buying some green and you know what the person charged for an eighth, but he charging you $10 more because whatever, and you agree to pay the $10 more. You're never getting it for the other price again, because I know I can charge you this much for the eighth now. you one of my dudes that I'm gonna charge 40 and I charge everybody else 30 because you agreed to pay the 40. Now every time you come get an A from me, I'm charging you 40. Like, what a 30 today? I ain't got no 30 no more, bro. As a matter of fact, next week is gonna be 50.
Yeah, but or it may not. You know what I mean? Like it's.
I'm curious to know why you think that, especially in this setting. Why do you think that?
Because it's drying up out here. Like Phil, I think he had kind of made peace with his issue, like because Tony don't really respect Phil. That's the whole issue. It's like this Tony's the same one that was driving Phil down when he was eating ice cream and forced him to run in the back of a car and grabbed his head. This is the same Phil he's seen in the hospital. The same, you know, he's had these little homie moments with Phil when he was like not really even the underboss, but like the consigliere, so to speak, to Johnny Sack. And so he's had all of these moments. Even then, he's like, man, I'm gonna kill my cousin. You don't get to come kill my cousin. Like he's had all of these disrespectful moments with Phil. So now Phil is finally like at that point, like, nigga, I'm not compromising. You know what I mean? Like this is what I'm standing on. And he's like, oh, you got some empty jokes or whatever. It's like, nigga, this ain't no joke. Like, you know, that's when he goes into the 20 years. I want a manicure. I want to fuck a woman, but I compromised. I jacked off in the tissue. You see where I'm going? Huh?
You sound like you're saying exactly
everything.
What
I was gonna say everything that you explained.
No. What I'm saying is, Tony, if you don't pay this, you just get zero, and y'all are in at the end. It's over for the little guy. Like the money is drying up, so to speak. You know what I mean? You killed off one of you lost 3 big good earners. You lost Chris, you lost Vito, you lost Ralph. You know what I mean? So those are known to be really good earners. And so with that being said, it's like, bro, the money's drying up. So even if you pay that 25, you got to take that hit. You're still getting the percentage versus 0. Now you get nothing. Now you can't pay for Stugatz too, or whatever you say, oh, it bought me another boat or whatever. So I again, possibly, yes, Phil could have kept going up. That's a possibility, but I think that's a risk you got to take. But again, you don't know that it's going to go where it's going to go with Blue Comet until obviously you take that chance and go that way. But you know, I get it. I get both sides. I'm just saying that, like, I'm playing the other side of it. Like, you can get with this tax, so you can just get nothing. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. So, you know, it's like the haircut. Like, you don't want to pay that price on that haircut, but I can go with no haircut, or I can pay that 45, and even though I normally pay 35. You know, all
right. But what about? But now you know they got the $100 haircuts with the ring lights. Yeah, and the disc, like, you know what I mean? Are you paying $100?
Nah, but it's different. Only reason it's different because there's great barbers everywhere. It's not like you don't have like your mob connections between Jersey and New York. Like, where you gonna go to Albuquerque? Like, or
nope. So I'm glad you said that. So you can't use that analogy. This is a supply and demand situation. There's only so many contracting jobs here. So now, we're making a monopoly. So it's getting to Spike's point. This is going to get to a point where if you do not pay the hundreds, you have nothing. But here's the thing. You said 45, which means that, all right, I'll pay the 45 because it's cool. 145, that's a big gap.
Okay.
You're being ridiculous. Everybody at that table, everybody in that room knows 25% is ridiculous. Phil is intentionally being a dickhead because I know you're never going to agree to this. Like, my whole point of this is to make us go to war. Like, because you would be insane to agree to 25%. The same way you would be insane to pay $100 for a haircut when you know somebody else got it for 45. Either y'all got to set up shop somewhere else, go to South Jersey, get the fuck off my block, and we gonna own all this shit up here, or you gonna go by my rules because we still the big dogs and we still run this. And that's why you can't do that, because now you're paying $100 when you know I should only paying 45 is a stretch.
It
you
is
paying 100.
It is.
And now this nigga gonna be this stupid motherfucker. Now pay me 125 next week. I'm gonna slap you around because I can, and I know you're gonna get tired of it, and I want you to get tired of it because I've been not fucking with you, and I've been wanting to go up.
Okay. But yeah, man, like, oh my God, just those lines. Like, you want compromise, how's this? And then the leave, it's the look that Phil has right at the end. I'm getting out of the scene, but like the look that he has. Yeah, I jerked off in a tissue, and he's looking at his guys because he's like, he know I'm shining right now. Like, I'm Mitch right now. Like, yeah, I'm putting the show. I'm Mitch right now. Like, in the look that he has, you see where I'm going? You know what I mean? Like he was in his. I love this scene so much. I could talk about it forever, just because I love the way he played this. Like that moment. Like I was just like, I'm talking to you. Yeah, I'm talking to you, nigga. Like, but anyway.
But this is
So,
for the cousin. This is for all of those things. This is
oh yeah,
the cultivating event of all of those moments. Like nigga, yeah. Like I knew one day I was gonna have you in this position. I knew it. And now you finna take like everything that I have as far as verbal insults.
yeah,
We didn't even talk. I'm glad you said that because I forgot to even mention the way Phil even opened that meeting. You know, did your cousin's wife get the flowers I sent her? If you sent
Mm-hmm.
them, I'm sure she did. You know, I know how grieving is, especially the closer you are to somebody. He started that
They
meeting off
talk
just
about this,
so
yeah.
on bad faith, like feel a motherfucker.
yeah,
Man.
bro. Like yeah, because I remember what I did to my kid brother. You know. Butchie and Coco, they go to the site to collect their checks, and pretty much Tony shuts the power off on them. Like, and the dudes there's like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I wish they would have told you." And pretty much they take it out on the messenger. I just wanted to ask: is this the same dude that was in the fish shop in season 2 when Chris had, when we call him Chippendale, the two guys for the executive games? Remember, there was a guy at the fish shop. I said, "Bro, this looks." I even looked it up. I said, "Are these the same people?" I don't know.
Nah, I know who you talking about, but that ain't him.
That ain't
You
him.
talking about
Okay.
when you talking about when he messed up the scale?
Yeah.
Messed up the reading? Nah, that ain't him.
That ain't him. Okay. Like they look oddly close. And look, but so obviously this what?
Butchie got such a punchable face, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely, dude. They always zoom in and give you that like, and then it's like, then he's like, hey, he collected that 350 off you. Like, all right, let me get that up off you, man.
Yeah, 320, man, because it's about principle.
Yeah,
Like, I'm leaving here with something.
I'm leaving here with something. I mean, back in the day,
Tony Soprano owe you 320, nigga.
Yeah, and it's crazy too. It's like, bro, it's amazing. Sometimes I'm like, damn, niggas used to carry cash. Like nobody will get nothing now. You'll take somebody's wallet and get nothing but debit and credit cards, and they'll immediately like
you gotta beat a nigga up. You gotta beat a nigga up, make him unlock his phone, and cash up yourself or Zelle yourself. That's what you gotta do now.
You gotta beat him up and cash app yourself.
Yeah, beat him up, make him unlock his phone, and then, hey man, give me your shit. I'm about to cash app myself this much. Yeah, that's what you gotta do now.
I gotta write an audio series. That is funny. That's like the show Bookies. I feel like that's like kind of the premise of Bookies or whatever. But yeah, Meadow comes to AJ's room to check on him, and AJ dropped out of school again, and he didn't take the test. He's talking about, I guess, the country bombing Iran, and she says, you have to learn to shut stuff out. He says, do you ever feel like all of this is for nothing? Which is a great question, but this is a concept discussed in a Tony and Melfi session previously, the mystery of life. Why do I got to care so much? And then Meadow assures him and says that we're Italian. You're their son. You'll always be more important. Anything y'all want to talk about in regards to this scene?
I'd love to hear Chris Malone write in and talk a little bit
more
about the Italian
man, Chris Malone. Yeah.
I like that Meadow picks up to something wrong more so than usual. She's very emotionally intelligent in this sense of like, I've seen this before with my roommate, like he acting weirder than usual, like something's wrong, as we see in later scenes, but she go talk to her mom and dad. But I like her like trying to get in there, like really feel what he got going on as a sister. Like this is one of the most genuine moments between these two.
Yeah.
And AJ still being like a dipshit. And it's just like it's very interesting to watch play out. While I always wonder when the people who do like AJ, like what's the redeeming quality, like you always say, Mo? Because this is the conversation where he could have been vulnerable and open. Like she wants to hear it. Like you can't run around acting like don't nobody want to hear your shit when you got your sister right there trying to talk to you and you being like a dipshit. So it's interesting to see.
It's just AJ is a and I'm not white, so I don't understand. Y'all can probably elaborate for those that are like our white listeners, but like he just feels like this small corner of an archetype. Like that's what he feels like. There's people that relate to AJ and feel him. That like, bro, that is exactly how I be feeling. Splurting out all these things, just trying to figure out how to make my understand my emotions, make them concrete. But he just feels like this small corner that's so unrelatable in so many different archetypes that it's hard for me to connect with. They're showing us again, like AJ, they're showing us like this is the same thing is similar. I mean, similar to Tony, where Tony says one time he just said, "Man, I don't know why I'm mad. I'm just mad." Like this is literally AJ voicing the same emotion that Tony. Again, no diss to Robert Eiler because I think he did this character what it was supposed to be, but it's like I don't know. We were supposed to. He doesn't have charm, and maybe that's what hurts more. Like there's no charm with AJ. Tony, there's charm. So it's like even though he's a a miserable prick, he's charming enough to get us to buy in. AJ is not. He doesn't have traits that get us to buy in. I think that's the overall thing. Nothing about him makes us want to buy in. But yeah, I like what you said. The sister checking in thing, because remember she came in a few episodes ago, like just crying, like, "Hey, I think I need to check on AJ," which we'll see later on. It pans out. She's like, he's just saying some weird things and all that, and I love that. Like they've always had this brother sister relationship, but like this is far from AJ farting in the room. When she was in there and gotten her to get up out of there, like he's not having fun. He's not laughing. He's not smiling. Not being immature, doing dumb stuff. He's like a downer fully, and it's definitely a red flag.
Thanks.
Well said.
Carmela made Lincoln Log sandwiches.
Y'all ever tried Lincoln Log sandwiches?
Fuck no.
I never have, actually.
Fuck no.
Hot dogs with sour cream.
Oh, that's sour cream. I thought it was mayo.
I think it's cream cheese.
Cream cheese?
Yeah, cream cheese. Yeah, Philadelphia cream cheese. Yeah, Philadelphia. I'm sorry. Yeah. See, you cut the hot dog open down the middle. You put cream cheese in the middle of it.
Did she even cook the dogs?
Yeah, I would hope so. Yeah, the hot dog's done after you boil them or however you cook your hot dogs. Split them and then put the cream cheese in there.
You had them before?
Nothing appealing sounds good. I mean, nothing about that sounds appealing. Should I say?
I ain't never had them before, but I ain't gonna hold you, Rich. I might try one.
I try my own like little vegetarian version of this. Like,
get y'all glizzy on.
I'm a glizzy fan though. Pause.
Like, I like glizzies, man.
Let's knock off the glizzy. Like the glizzy is popping. Like get it off the grill.
The glizzy. Listen, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I fuck with the glizzies too. All I'm saying is the cream cheese. I'm not doing that.
It's different.
I will have to taste it.
You let me know how it is.
I will have to taste it.
Hey, listen.
When we do a live show, we're gonna have everybody. When y'all come to the live show, we're gonna have Lincoln. We're gonna have Lincoln Logs.
Hey, you know how dope it would be if our listener base was so big that we had people bring in Italian dishes.
We do the live show. We get
and like we got to try like the authentic.
We get Karen Ziti.
Yeah, we get the
Lincoln Logs.
We get
Carmela's whatchamacallit
with the spinach at the yeah. We get the manicotti, you know what I'm saying? We get the like that would be so fire, bro. Like that content, like with the great cameras and everything, bro. The black man trying to use Italian.
Yeah, good earnest dinner.
Yeah, man. That's why I said we gotta keep this feed going. It's too much here that we can't just let it yeah. But anyway, she makes the Lincoln Logs.
That's a YouTube short right there.
It is
Lincoln Logs on the Good Hunter page.
You're right. We may have to throw some shorts in the mix. Like, hey, look.
Yeah.
Hey, Rich, you gotta join us, man. You already got the suit on. You might as well go
throw some mustard on that joint.
Hey,
throw some mustard on that joint.
Cream cheese, man. Come on, y'all niggas. Y'all motherfuckers trying to have my stomach do backflips. Hot dog, cream cheese, mustard. Y'all, what the fuck?
You don't fuck with cream cheese, Rich?
I
do, but not on bagels and shit. Not on no damn fucking hot dog.
Oh, so that is the same cream cheese that you put on bagel. I thought it was like, I'm like, is this two different?
Philadelphia cream cheese.
There's another one.
I don't know. Like I thought it was like, okay, it's I don't know because I've
Thought it
seen it
was
used for other things that are like more savory. That's why it always throws me off. I'm thinking like, is there two
yeah, you
different
can
cream
use it for
cheeses?
savory stuff. People put it in like lasagna, cheese mixes, and stuff like that just to make stuff creamier.
See, yeah, but I use heavy cream though. That's why I'm like, I don't know.
But
I guess
you can use cream cheese as like if you don't have heavy cream or
yeah,
light
yeah.
cream, you can use cream cheese.
Ah, okay. See, that's why I was confused.
Shout out to Food Network, man.
Hey,
Everything
shout
I
out
know,
to the
I learned
Food
from y'all.
Network. Hey, y'all, we might get y'all some. We might all have our own individual video on YouTube. Like we're gonna whip up a dish for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that'd be fire, bro. You get an Airbnb, get the backdrop, cook something, make it look real official. Like yo, this is the Good Earner recipe with Spike Lee, Good Earner recipe with Rich, with Mo. Like, come on,
Yeah.
the sky's the limit. I got so many ideas. They go like, yo, these black dudes is cooking, literally. Um, we go to the next scene.
We've delayed it enough. We are here.
Yes, we are finally here.
I know people listening like these niggas talking about Lincoln Logs like the next scene ain't the fucking
like yes, spending so much
Wanna-
time on the logs. Like,
Yeah.
so we've alluded to this quite a bit of times when we talked about AJ being younger, and now we're here. We're at the precipice. AJ attempts to end himself in the pool, but he doesn't make the rope long enough. Tony comes and saves AJ, and you know, he said, "What's the matter with you?" And he calls him his baby. How did y'all feel about this y'all first time watching this, if y'all can recall, versus this time?
I'm a lot more sympathetic to AJ this time, and I was sympathetic the first time, but first time watching this, man, just being younger in my 20s, bruh, she don't like you no more.
Oh, you're still thinking this is the blue block?
In my 20,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
my first time
okay.
watching it, yeah, in my 20, not now.
Oh,
That's why I said
yeah.
I'm much more sympathetic to him and what he has going on, and it's sad. Like, just man, my niece was born this past week, man. Like, and that does something to you, even though she's not my daughter. It's very, very close. Like, you know what I mean? Me and my sister got a tight relationship, so that's holding her, being there for the entire week, spending time with her. Just in the few days she was born, spending time with her, man. I understand that love at first sight type of thing, and just the idea of having somebody like you, this like it's this bad. Like, you can't talk to me, you can't talk to nobody else. Like, this is the only way out. Like, it's Tony does the whole like, what's wrong with you? But it's not because he's trying to be a dickhead. It's I literally don't know what to do, man. I'm trying to save you from yourself. I have no idea where to start because I don't even know what the issue is. And just I wonder, and I'm gonna ask both of you this question. I believe that AJ, I think Melfi mentioned that it might be a cry for help. I forget who it was exactly. I do think he intentionally, whether it's subconscious or not, I think he knew that rope wasn't long. It was too long. It was one. I think I mentioned. I can't remember if I said this on this podcast about the heads, tails things. He didn't want to die, but he wanted to get close to it to see is life worth living? And I think there's a difference.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, there might be something. If I'm in here and I realize I got something to fight for, which he did, then maybe there's another way out. Versus I'm in here and fuck it. You know what I mean? I make the final decision. So I really feel for AJ, man, because mainly because I can't understand him. I can't understand what it's like to want to end your life.
Yeah.
And I don't say that. I say that with empathy to anybody who's ever had suicidal thoughts or anything of that, man. But I know it's serious, even if I can't understand it, and it's a lot going on with that.
Spike.
Couple things.
Your first time versus this time.
Yeah, my first time I was like, I remember thinking that he wasn't gonna do it. I remember thinking he too much of a fuck up to even get this right. And that's just AJ's character. Like, if he wanted to really kill himself, to Melfi's point later, AJ could have done it. I feel like it was some pills or something in that house or something that he would have did where he was really trying to end himself. He would have did it. I think it's more so he's just confused about his feelings and he doesn't know how to talk. He doesn't know how to communicate the confusion. He doesn't have a safe space to express himself. Like he can't do it with Carmella. He can't do it with Tony. He can't do it with the therapist. He can't do it with Meadow. He don't feel comfortable with the friend group. He ain't got Blanca. He don't feel comfortable there. Like that's literally a kid in this world alone, and he's trying to feel something. He's trying to see if okay, I'm alone is being dead better. And it's like Rich said, he's trying to test the waters of how will people react to me? Because I think he's trying to get a reaction. He's not trying to kill himself. He's trying to get a reaction like, now will people let these walls down and listen to what I'm saying? Will they talk to me? Will they respect and understand me? Which is all the things he don't feel like he getting. But it's just due to his lack of being able to communicate properly. And I just don't see where he'll learn that. I'm not as empathetic as Rich is with this because this is gonna sound crazy to say, but we talking about a TV show, not a real person. This is a better show if AJ dies right here, to me.
Yes.
If AJ 3 episodes left, this being like in the middle of the third episode, and AJ is successful in this after Tony just kills Chris, and now he has to reckon with, he got to reckon with nigga. Nah, you ain't no free kills, bro. He got to reckon with your son
Some
killed
real
himself
Final Destination type
on some,
vibes.
yeah, like hey, there are no free kills.
Ooh.
And you finna go to war with New York with that on your mind.
Ooh.
This is a much deeper TV show and better if AJ dies right here.
Yeah, I think so. It's crazy you say that because that's exactly what I thought, bro. That's exactly what I said, bro. It would have been more impactful if AJ did go.
Yep.
Again, not being insensitive to people that suffer those things, because I can understand. I've had my fair share of those thoughts. So nothing that produced any action, but I definitely I put it this way. I had the thoughts so heavy that I understand how people got there. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I've
like
been depressed before. I've been depressed before. You like, I don't know if I've been that depressed, but
like
I
it
can
ain't
understand.
like I never like in my head. I never proposed a plan on I'm getting out of here. I just got to the level of what's the use. You know what I mean? When you start getting there, I never tapped in further than that, but I definitely understand like what's the use, kind of like, because eventually you start to, you know. But anyway,
I understand exactly what you mean with that. I remember when my pops passed. It's been 5 years. Remember my pops passed, man. I never had. I remember I never had thought about unaliving myself, but I definitely didn't. The worries of what's gonna happen if I leave just go away. Like if it happened, it happened. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and that's a real thing.
You get the like the thought is there. Like, you know, like I said, the action ain't produced because the commitment is not. You know, we're thinking about the people that we leave behind and how that affects them. You know, so but the first time I watched this, I really did genuinely feel sad for him. I was like, dang, I didn't like his character, but this is a moment I was like, dang, maybe I missed something. Like the first time watching, I was like, maybe I missed something. And, you know, I was like, dang, because he going this far, like he's really trying to, he got the bag on his head and he got the brick. You know, in my mind, I'm thinking he's really committed to, I want to be done. I'm over it. But this time watching it around, it's, I just don't, AJ doesn't get anything right. He couldn't even, he tried to go and whack his uncle and couldn't drop the knife. Like, he doesn't get anything right. And which Tony will talk about later in the Melfi scene. But the show would have been a better show with that. Like, where we would have got no closure. We got no closure on Tony. Like, because we seen how he felt about Jackie Jr. You don't think I did everything I could to protect that kid? You know, but like him losing AJ after what Spike said, murking Chris. Man. But I think they may have known that like the show couldn't have just that would take another 5 episodes, you know, to like stretch that out with Carmella. And I think they knew. But the show, ironically, did y'all realize how much they have dealt with this theme in this show? I want to give y'all a few examples. So Vin Makazian, obviously the first season, he does the deep dive. Meadows' soccer teammate, you know, she cuts her wrist. Junior's Taylor's grandson, when he finds out the news why he's getting Taylor at the big boss party. One of Melfi's patients, you know, Davey Scatino. Remember when he was considering ending it when he was on the pool table. Irina thought about it. Gloria did. Artie attempted to. Eugene did. Adriana's mother considered it. A girl in Meadows' dorm who jumped. And AJ. So this has been quite the theme, a big theme in this world, bro. Like that is what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 examples of like, ending it on their own terms. So, but the only thing I felt bad about in this time is it's the emotion that Tony had. I felt
my nigga held that Lincoln log up to the last minute.
Yeah. He was like,
that motherfucker wait till he got to the pool.
He was genuinely confused. Like he's looking like, help me. He's looking at AJ. He's like, we got this bag on his head. And you don't know nothing's attached to him. So you're like, bro, what are you doing? And you get out there and like he's still doing it. He's like, help. And he's like not getting out. And he's like, he runs, it obviously does. But like this to me, like I think that I don't know how many takes it took, but it feel like a one take thing because the emotion that the late great James Gandolfini displayed here, where he was like, what's the matter with you? And and then like just the way Robert Eiler's carrying it, and then he realized he's like it's okay, and he calls him my baby. Bro, listen, I felt
this has to be a difficult position as a parent,
bro.
I don't have kids, but I can understand anger right here. Like you want to be sympathetic, you want to be consoling. That's your kid and you love them and you want them to know it's going to be okay. Also on the flip hand, I could understand if Tony were angry and like, man, what the fuck are you doing? Like it's a difficult, it's why the scene is so good, because it's a difficult way to process the emotion of this, because this is a person, even though we may not like AJ or love him as a character, it is a person that is attempting to take their life. And you see a father right here who, as you stated, Mo, he's genuinely confused. And I know his first initial reaction, because we know Tony, it would have been anger. Like to throw him up against, like he did against what he tried to kill Junior, throw him against the fucking truck and be like, bro, what the fuck do you got going on, bro?
Mm-hmm.
I should smack the shit out of you right now.
Mm-hmm.
Cause you out here playing. If I hadn't came home or whatever it may be, you would have lost your life.
Mm-hmm.
So I could understand him being mad about this, but great acting, great writing, great performance in this scene, in the sense of when you said he calling him baby, he consoling him. But I know Tony didn't want to do that. I know he didn't.
Yeah, his initial wasn't that, but there's the ducks, right?
Mm-hmm.
AJ was a duck in that moment. And going through that anger, the natural, and then having to get past that part and say, this is my baby. Like, bro, the not knowing what to do with your kid at this level is real, bro. Like they already got him in therapy. They got him medicated. They tried to give him a job. He had a girlfriend. They accepted his girlfriend even though she wasn't Italian. Like they're doing everything that they know how to do as an Italian, mafia family, And like to get to this point, it's like, bro, and you realize like this is my baby. Like I really almost, no jokes intended, but I almost lost you today for real. Bruh, it was
especially
real.
When last week we saw, metaphorically, we saw someone he loves drowning. He wouldn't have jumped in that pool for Chris.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, so it shows that bond too. And I love the fatherhood aspect of it. Like once it was time to call to action, because like you said, there was a confusion, because the idea of him even trying to unalive himself didn't even cross Tony's mind. He never even thought for once it was that bad, even though Meadow came in and said, hey man, like this is looking real familiar. He jumped in the pool, didn't hesitate, got the block. Like he just straight up Tony Soprano dad mode.
Yeah.
And that was dope, man. But yeah, you definitely feel for AJ, man. But
yeah. So I hope they got an award for this scene.
Yeah, they won. I think they won an Emmy for writing for this episode. Screenplay, maybe. I'll double check that.
But Tony is back at the Bing, and Tony just gets it out there. And I like the fact that they all try to empathize with him with their kids, about them being like their kids being moody, especially in a darker season, in a darker reality that we're in at the end. Even Paulie having no kids. You know, I love that everybody tried. I mean, I get he's the boss, and none of these guys are your friends, as Carmela said, but I get that they tried, and I appreciated that. Honestly, just my kid could be moody. My kid did this. My kid did that. You know, all of them just kind of doing it, and even Paulie chiming in. What did y'all think about this Bada Bing scene?
This episode did win outstanding writing for a drama series in the Writing Guilds for the Writing Guilds of America Awards. Yeah, man, I think it's just interesting to see gangsters talk about their feelings and really not know how to do it. And we talk about it. It's probably been a while since we mentioned this, but how surface level shit can be.
Yeah.
Like, we call this a family. Like, when I say we, I mean them. They call it a family, but they really don't talk too much about these type of things in a group level. It might be a one-on-one or some other shit. I'm sure Tony really doesn't know what's going on with anybody else's kids. Maybe outside of Seals. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just a surface, like, how your son doing? All right. I'm sure all of this is kind of new, or they might hear things through the grapevine but never really address it because they try to keep that boundary, even though they are family. So it's a little bit weird, and just the way they still, I don't know, man. They all kind of moping, man, kind of scared to speak up. I know they eventually talk, but bruh, it's like they ain't cool, and it's always interesting. Going to Carmela's point, like, it's like we ain't. Bro, my son just tried to imagine that, man. Imagine somebody's child, your friend, your family, your brother. A child try to do something, man. There's gonna be more than just waiting for them to talk or, hey, you hungry? You want something? Nah, nigga. Are you okay?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the one thing I always take away from this scene. Like, bro, how close are y'all in a real way? Not on a mob story, but in a real way.
Not close at all. Like, the only person that was close to him, he killed him.
Yeah. Great point. I'm sorry I didn't mention they take AJ to the center and the family is broken up about it. I that's like right before the scene. I didn't mention that, but I didn't have much to say. I just wanted to say that Carmelo says he was so happy. He was our happy little boy.
Fucking crazy. That was a fucking crazy line.
It was, but I think I understand where she was coming from.
No, I understand it makes her oblivious.
Well,
he ain't been happy. He ain't been happy one season on this show. Maybe a couple episodes when he met.
She was a happy little boy when he was a little boy.
She wasn't talking about this from we seen him. She's talking about like when he was a kid, because there was another scene, another season where she said when preschool he got the concept of sharing first. He was always a night. I think she was talking about as a baby, as a young kid. Also the other thing that I meant to mention was just their description of depression and what that looks like to them. Like, sometimes he gets the blues, or he can be a moody prick. They're all talking about it, and this comes up when Melfi says it. Like, you know, to tell Tony, you know what depression is. You know what it looks like. And this is a clear indicator that they don't.
Rage turn.
They don't know how to express it. They know it exists, but they don't know how to express it, or might not even acknowledge it.
Yeah, no doubt. Great point. So yeah, we go back to the house. Tony and Carmela. Carmela tells Tony how Tony starts to say, I'm depressed. And Carmela tells Tony how she really feels. she's like, bro, I'm sick of you playing this depression card. And he was she says, and you was a happy-go-lucky kid in high school. And that you know, you was this happy-go-lucky kid in high school, you know, had the charm, had all of this. And she pretty much telling like, bro, that came from your side of the family. Just got, you know, they're going through it and they need somebody to blame. This is all that I take from it. They need somebody to blame, and she's putting it on Tony. And it's weird that Tony's doing this depressed thing, because it's like it does come off like he's playing a depression card. What did y'all think?
I think that's rich to say. Like saying he's playing a depression card when we see that he actually suffers from depression. I think it's really dismissive of Carmela in this scene, and she's taking her anger out on her lack of parenting skills, being a mother, being the nurturer that should have been there for AJ, and trying to blame it on Tony's genes.
Mm-hmm.
This is bullshit. This is probably one of the most triggering scenes in this episode, in the sense of this is the reason your son is like he is. You have no empathy. Like your husband, even though we know all the bullshit that he's done and everything he puts you through, but bitch, you still chose to stay here. This
Mm-hmm.
is your choice. Nobody forced you to do this. Like plenty of people have told her before. And now you want to play this card like he's acting like depression is a thing, and then you wonder why you get treated the way that you get treated. This is why. This scene is the ultimate scene of why Carmela is treated the way that she's treated. She don't have that in her as a nurturer to be able to make the men in her life better. As we see with AJ, as we see with Tony. Yeah, he may be playing a card right here, Mo, but it ain't her place as a mother, as a wife, to take it this way. Like this is something where like you dealing with a side bitch or you dealing with a chick that really don't know you. You've been dealing with a chick from high school. She knows you've been suffering from these blackouts. She knows you going to therapy. It ain't like I'm making this up and woke up one day and said I was depressed. You just mentioned my family's genes in this. But still you finding a place to blame it on me as if you think that depression is not a real thing, and it is. Just
Mm-hmm.
because you don't deal with it, don't make it not real. This is one of the most disgusting scenes by Carmela in my whole day. This was disgusting.
It it is, but I respect it because it's real. Like if you, I've seen people who have had children, and there's certain things that happen with the children, and they like, man, that came from your side, and there's a little bit of resentment there. Like you know what I mean? Because like that shit would never, that didn't come from me, and now I have to deal with this because of your family. Like so, I understand. I like the fact that he wrote this in there because I know that there are people that go. If we get pushed to this point where this conversation happening, the gloves can come off.
It's realistic,
It's
Rich.
fucked up.
I agree with that,
It's
but it's
definitely
disgusting.
nasty. It's definitely nasty. Don't get me wrong.
It's
It's definitely nasty.
disgusting.
She probably still low key pissed about when he was calling her spec house bullshit.
Then leave. That's the thing about this, and the problem that you have with so many relationships nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And this may be another week in the book conversation. Me and Portia got into a little bit. This is just resentment. This is just you being mad for the way that he's treated you through all these years, and you never done anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't about the depression. This ain't about AJ. This is all of that boiling up where you feel like that you're getting manipulated. In this specific moment, you want to act out on the manipulation when it's any other moment you could do it. But him coming down here in the role acting or not acting, depressed, whatever you call it, she still should have more empathy as a wife, as a mother whose child just tried to kill themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And you blaming it on my family? That's gross.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me look at this from the other side and just float this question out there. Does Carmella have the right? Because she didn't start it. It's not like she came out and says your fault is your family. It's more so because, like, bruh, did Tony misread the situation by, all right, you can be depressed, but keep that shit to yourself right now, man. Like, I'm still trying to sort this out myself. Like, you coming down and telling me you depressed on top of you knowing what we dealing with our son right now is just way too much. And that's why she ended up blowing up. Do you think and both sides are right, right? There's no wrong answer because Tony, why should you not be able to express how I'm feeling to the one person, like you said, Spike, since high school, you know me. Like our son just tried to like, I gotta come down and be able to tell you because if I can't tell you, we just saw what it looks like at Satriel's. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can't talk to these motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
Like so, if I can't tell you, I can only tell Melfi, and we know the whole Melfi shit is a scam at this point. So I can see the point where Karma, like, man, that's way too much. Like, get that shit off my plate. And I can see Tony, like, man, who the fuck else am I going to talk to about this?
You're right, Rich, in the sense of this may not be the time or the place, but there's a better way. And I love to hear female perspective on this. So any of our female listeners listening,
Yeah.
I mean, right in. But as a man, when people question our vulnerabilities, this is a scene that you could look at and point out as to why. Because yeah, with Tony's track record, you can look at it and say, oh, he's being manipulative. However, in this situation, you have to look at the vulnerability he's showing. He ain't never really just came out and said, I'm depressed. Like that's been
Oh,
like
he's done that. He's done it before.
it ain't a common theme like she trying to make it though. Like it's usually derived from him fainting. It's usually derived from the other things. One of the byproducts of depression. It's not him coming out and being like, man, you know what? I ain't feeling it, bro. Like like
All right, hold on. Because I gotta come from the other side, y'all. Like, because so Carmela says that, do you know what it's like? Don't get me wrong. I think everything you're saying, it was discussing the timing of it all. But do you know what it's like to deal with somebody that constantly complains? Like, again, like she could leave. We know all that stuff, but we're in it now. Like, we're Italian family. This is what we do. But it's like you're going into. It's like here's a hot take. Maybe warm take, but hot take. Carmela knows Tony better than anybody. And so as much as we don't like her, she's probably right more than she's wrong when it comes to Tony. We just don't like her approach. Because when she says like, oh, those are not your friends, or, oh, no, when she had this issue with him seeing a therapist and it was a woman and she had an issue with it because I don't get to have you in that way. And then Tony ended up actually wanting to smash Melfi later. It's like Carmela's most of the times right with Tony. It's just we don't like her character that much because it's the approach in it, and Edie Falco does an excellent job. So I think in this moment, it's like you looked at this as you're trying to get a sympathy thing off. I'm depressed. Like, hold up, you're not going to lay your burden on me when we both need to be strong right now for our son. You're laying this weight on me right now. Like, it was like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what you're in therapy for.
If I'm just being vulnerable with you, though.
But like, I'm depressed because she knows every time you do this. Remember when he had to go, when he had to figure out if P was where P was, and P was gone. He was on the lam. He was coming downstairs when Livia was alive, and he had the same thing: the robe on, the raggedy hair, funky. He sat down at the dinner table, went back up. So it's like, bro, you do this all the time, and now this time, bro, we never had our child try to take their own life, and now you want to add this on top. Like, bro, I can't do this with you right now. Like, we could deal with all of that in a minute. We can come back to the table on that, but don't come in like, oh, I'm depressed. Like, hold up, bro, I'm depressed too. Like, it's just the timing of it all.
That's fair. It's fair to question it, but to react in the sense of I'm doubting that you're depressed is what's disgusting to me. It's fine for her to tell him,
but she might be right though.
I'm not saying that she's not. Okay. I'm saying her reaction and them being a husband and wife and her wondering why she get treated the way that she do as a wife is because in this scenario, like what you're saying, Mo, it's fine that you don't want to deal with this right now. You may not be able to deal with me being depressed. Then just say that. Don't question if I'm lying. Don't act like I'm this manipulative ass person who you wish you hadn't got married to, and I have our son out here trying to kill himself. Like, this is not the chance to do that. You had plenty of chances to do that. You could have stayed gone from Whitecaps. Like, you didn't have to come back. True. You chose to do that. So now when I'm being vulnerable with you, it's fine for you not to want that burden buried on you right now. You can say that. Don't question my character, though, and say that I'm not depressed. Don't do that. Go say, well, you know what? If you are, take some time to yourself, because I can't handle that right now. I'm focused on our son. I want to make sure he get right. I know you have the capability to bounce back because I've seen you do it before. I've seen you deal with depression. But to question if he's depressed or not, to me, that was disgusting.
Yeah, when you're dealing with a liar, it's hard.
And again, that go back to I think that's the problem when we deal with a lot in relationships. Like, they base it on a previous interaction that we have versus this interaction that we're having.
No, that is true. Like, that is true.
And that's human. We do that as humans to protect ourselves. Like, you have to do that because you don't want to get manipulated and ran over. I do get what you're saying. I'm not dismissing it. I understand it, Mo. But in this situation, I feel like a real woman could have made this a lot better in the sense of
she could have took a different approach. She could have.
Yeah, don't come pouring that shit on me, bro. Like, I'm trying to deal with our son.
Yeah, not right now. Not
you're a grown man. You can handle it.
Yeah,
but I'm not. What I'm not going to do is question how you're feeling, because that's your right to do that.
And she should have took the Sil approach and just like, I still be just letting him ramble and don't say nothing. Mm-hmm. She could have took that approach, like just leave him there.
She don't even know how to what.
She don't even know how to do that. I know.
Thanks.
She always overshares. But we get
and to bring up the like it let you know she's trying to be petty. She brought up the shooting shit with my mom's. I'm telling you, I'm depressed. You bring up some of the most embarrassing shit in my family history. Like, come on, bro.
I'm sorry, I hate to say that, but boy, that tracks for women, bro. Something I told you in confidence.
Yes,
and now
that's my
you
point.
used it as ammunition, bro.
Yes,
That
that's
if
my
that don't
fucking
track,
point.
I'm sorry, women. I love y'all. I promise you, we love y'all here at Good Earners.
That's
We
why
do the
men are scared to be
Sopranos,
vulnerable with women, because you
but
get in positions like this, and she gonna hit you with the well, nigga.
We talked about this on the other week of books. It's like, oh well, shoot, that's why that's probably why they fired you at the job. He's like,
me and Portia talked about that this week on
like,
another week.
bro, that's why they fired you at the job, bro.
Yeah,
bro, we know that, but now you're using this ammunition. I thought this was a safe space.
women, you can go
they
low,
cold
but
with it,
women
boy.
They gonna go to hell.
Oh yeah,
you want to go
they going
low?
all the way.
I'm going to the devil,
South
nigga.
Pole, boy. Like they listen. But yeah, so we get Tony and Melfi, and Tony knows the part that he played when it comes to AJ. He doesn't even say it. He just like, I know. But he also says Carmela plays a part in coddling AJ. And told him that he should be a little softer. But it's interesting because I know Melfi has talked about in previous sessions where it's like, don't you kind of wish that your mother would have been that way with you, though? So anything I want to add to this Tony and Melfi session?
I think what y'all just talked about is it kind of spills over.
Oh, it just spills into it. Okay.
Yeah, it spills into this, man. It's kind of the same conversation. Like, who's to blame? All this, the whole nine. Like, yeah, I got my shit, but she got her shit too.
Yeah.
Facts.
Hers just isn't genetics.
Yeah.
Which some might argue is even worse.
Yeah, Carmela visits AJ, and we find out Meadow was rear-ended, just to tie into her bag driving. I feel like that's just like one of those things they weave it in, and they're having a conversation about some other things. Nothing was really that significant, in my opinion. Anything y'all want to talk about with the Carmela AJ? Because okay, here we go, y'all. Coco is in the same restaurant where Meadow and the Parisi kid, Patrick Parisi, are eating. Coco pulls up and says Meadow has some cream on her mouth and says it must be nice tucking her in at night.
First he said, I can help you add more to that.
Yo, listen to me, bro. Wildest Soprano lines. Like, you got some, like, touching her in every, like, the violation, like the dude right there, like, bro, I'd care zero about it.
My fault, Mo. Go ahead.
Nah, go ahead. Like,
I was gonna say once again, and at the end, because everybody knows children are off limits.
Wives, yep.
Like, why are you even approaching her? Even if you think it's funny, man. Once again, how did you think this was gonna turn out, my nigga? You was gonna hope that she ain't say nothing? Like, what are you doing? Even don't give a yep.
And he said best to your dad. Like, bro, you should have been ready to, like, get busy. When you knew you did that, you should have been ready to get busy.
You might as well slap her. You might as well slap her up.
This goes to the conversations that are being had in New York in the rooms that Tony ain't in. Like, when he leaves that sit down, this is the conversations being had. Like, he weak. Only reason that what's his name?
Coco.
Yeah, only reason that Coco does this is because he's hearing Phil and how he's talking about Tony. He's hearing the perception of Tony in the room. I'm going to get away with this. He ain't got enough power to do this. Phil ain't fucking with him. I'm going to get justified in this, and he ain't going to be able to do nothing. I'm finna go flex my muscle. Now, my question, though, Meadow can't never fuck with this dude again, right? It's over.
He stood up.
Yeah, he stood up. No, he stood up. Nah, he stood up.
Yeah, you got to do more than that, though, bro.
Yeah, you do, but
it ain't. I mean, what you gonna steal on, dude?
Yeah,
you got to. You gotta take your L, bro. If you fuck with her, like,
how many dates is this, man?
Right. I mean, well, they've been rocking out. We find out later, like, they've been rocking out a little bit, but
what you think Jackie would have done?
Oh, Jackie would
have fought him. Yeah, Jackie would have fought him.
Jackie would have definitely. Yeah, Jackie would have fought him.
Jackie don't know no better. He would have fought dude.
Yeah, he ignorant. Jackie would have definitely. He been looking for something like this.
This is an impossible situation.
Jackie, what would my man
have done? Hey, what would my man have done?
Noah
with Noah. Noah called him his daddy.
Hey, he called his
Noah would've
dad for
called his
sure.
dad.
Like, he
Hey,
gave
what
him
was the dentist? What was Finn had? Finn had
Finn.
Finn. Oh man,
Finn would have pissed on
Finn
himself.
wouldn't even got up. Finn wouldn't have got up.
He wouldn't even got up. Nah. He ain't
Finn let Vito finesse him, man. Stop playing.
That's
Finn wouldn't have
let
done
him
shit.
rub his arm, like, check for your veins.
Finn would have been like, well, you did have a. Finn would have been like, well, you did have a little whipped cream there. Yeah, he would have been on some of that shit.
Yeah,
Hey, you gotta push him or something though, bro. You can't just let him like the nigga can't put his hand on your date mouth.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of. But I feel like his reaction was real because you're kind of like, okay, where's this going? Do you know each other? So he realized, like, you know how you're kind of your reaction is a little delayed because you're like, you gotta switch modes.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, oh, we was just eating, chilling, having a romance moment, and you're like, okay, wait a minute, what's this dude doing? And like, is he trying to flirt? Is he what is So I feel like his reaction was delayed, but when he got tapped in, he got up. But I mean, I feel like it was reasonable.
Shout out to Jamie.
Lee. Got to be a little physical contact.
She looked terrified and confused.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, it got to be a little physical contact in there, bro. It got to be at least a little shove or something, bro. You can't just at least, man, a little mush or attempt to mush or something.
Coco,
bro.
big
like,
dude though, bro. I ain't gonna.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He was a pretty giant dude, bro.
How much you like Meadow? How much do you like Meadow? Because even
that's what it comes
you
down
can take
to.
that L.
We're talking about mid. No, I'm just playing. Go ahead.
He probably if he didn't had that box out. Hey, if he didn't had that box out already, he ain't doing nothing. Hey, if he didn't had that middle box already, he ain't. I see why he reacted.
Middle shirts coming too. Middle Soprano, bro.
If he ain't had the middle box and still think it's fire, then he got.
Oh, he think it's fire. Like it ain't middle to him.
Then you got to react. Then you got to react, bro. You ain't had the box yet. Yeah, you got it.
It's everything because she's gorgeous. Like she's in her bag right now. Like she got the look. She's in. So
in the next scene, when the reveal happens, when Tony finds out, remember that's when she tells Carmela about Patrick and said, so all them nights he was in New York, he was really over his house. Yeah, so he done had the box.
Oh, he had it.
Oh, that's why he didn't do nothing there. Another thing to our theory about the mid box.
It's a fire make you get out of character, huh?
Yeah, it was fire. What?
Hey,
get out of character real quick.
If that was some WAP, bro, it would have chairs would have been turned around in this motherfucker. Like
would have got your Big Mike Stacy on, man. I
don't care how
beat
big
his ass the other day.
Is,
took
man.
it like a G.
Yeah, nigga, we finna move some shit around in here, and I don't care if you beat me. I don't care how big.
Yeah, I took it like a G.
I know what I'm finna go home to after this. Bro. I'm finna put that fire on.
I don't know. Maybe I'll say this. Maybe she learned some things. Maybe after Finn, maybe she learned some things. I don't know. I feel like there got to be some like a growth process. I don't know. But Middle is fun.
He's still fucking with niggas that won't do nothing.
but he got his stuff together though. Like I'm like he actually got some real potential.
Hey, bro, my dad a gangster too, man. Like you're not gonna come in here and just do like any kind. You ain't just come here acting any kind of way, bro. Like that's not gonna happen. So either like we said, our theory to the mid box, you just like, hey, she leaves, so what? I got a chance to get out of here and find some fire.
That's true.
Could work out.
Yeah. But Carmela and Meadow tell Tony about Coco's comments. Like they try to be resistant at first. But again, this is at the end where like everybody's kind of looped into this thing of theirs. You know what I mean? Like we're in weird territory, weird times in the mafia where it's like they're looped into it. They know, but they don't know, right? They're telling
like this scene.
Yeah, I did too.
It's one of my favorite scenes. Yeah,
I did too. So she so Tony pretty much played cool, and he just like I'm out of here. Like he knew what he about to do because like his son already, tried to end it. Then you touching my daughter and talking about some cream and tucking her in, like tucking her in at night. I don't know why that is like such a like crazy line to tell someone. You must really enjoy tucking her in at night. But yeah, and then Meadow also says that she's quitting med school because it's too hard and wants to get into law. Anything I want to add to this scene?
The last part reminds me of This Christmas. When Lauren London's character, man, they said that she changes her major based off who she's dating. That's what it felt like. So I can understand Carmela's concern because it's like, yo, like you dating this dude and now all of a sudden you want to do law. The same way you were unsure when you was dating Finn and he did med school and now you chasing him around the country. She's concerned. And we said this before. Please don't turn into me. Like, you're way too bright. You got way too many opportunities, man. Like, carve your own path. Don't chase some dude around the country. Don't switch your life up because you're dating this person at this time. Like, just be cool.
Yeah. We go into.
What do you think? Wait, what do y'all think that they think was going to happen to Coco from telling Tony this?
I don't know if they put.
I don't think they thought. I think they're still like the again, all the reactions are kind of delayed. I think they're still thinking this thing of theirs, you can't put your hand on the made man. Like, y'all did that in Jersey.
They don't know that.
We
though.
definitely ain't doing that.
Carmella, I'm talking about Carmella and Meadow.
Oh, they knew.
They sitting there debating, and they like, should we tell Tony? And Meadow is like, I don't think we should.
Meadow knew because she had that conversation with Finn. They're from the old country. There's certain ways that they settle things. Like, Meadow knew what it was. And Carmella.
So do you think that they think that he was going to die because they told him like this?
I don't think she cared. Like,
I don't think.
You don't think who cared? Meadow.
Yeah, they just know that this will never happen again. That's kind of more, I think, the thought is like, you make sure it never happens again.
Yeah, because I can't be out here on dates in the city and niggas just randomly pulling up on me. Like, I got to tell my dad, and I'm going to trust that my dad's going to do whatever to make sure that never happens again. However that looks, whatever. Like, he doesn't mean enough to Meadow to really be, she's not in her AJ bag. Or AJ would have been like, oh.
The reason I asked, they were so hesitant. Like, she acted like she didn't want to tell him. They were really hesitant in this.
I think Meadow does that as a daughter for Tony. The same way she wasn't like the whole Vito thing. Remember, she was busy. She was big on Rosalie and Quorum, not telling Tony about Vito. I think it's more so like, man, I'm not trying to stir up the pot. Like, this is girl talk. This ain't for Tony to get involved because I know where he's gonna take it. I don't want my dad getting cut in some situation because of this. Because I know where Tony's going. If I tell him this, I know exactly where Tony's going. He's not going to meet Seal right now, like he said. I know where he's headed. And I don't want to see him get caught up in no bullshit. So I think that's where Meadow comes from. Because she knows what her dad's up to.
We go to Melfi and Elliot's session, and Elliot drops a. So we notice Melfi. You can tell Tony's rubbing off on Melfi. Again, in at the end, everybody, so to speak, everybody's compromised. Shout out to Phil. So Elliot drops the bomb on Melfi about sociopaths from a colleague that he knows at Rikers. It says that therapy does nothing but help them sharpen their skills as a sociopath, which is what Spike has been saying in the early seasons. Even though I've always thought there are glimpses of humanity in those certain parts of their sessions. What did y'all gather from this, this session between Melfi and Elliot?
The only thing I really got was his dad was an Untouchables fan. And it made me think, like, is he named after Elliot Ness?
I like it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's a great point.
This is the beginning of the end. Of course, there's 3 episodes left, but this is when Melfi finally realizes, like, oh, I've been wasting my time this whole time. I've enjoyed it.
Which is crazy.
I've had a great patient. I made a lot of money from it. I've learned probably as a professional some things that I could apply to different fields, but I've been wasting my time because I think that she does take what Elliot says with a grain of salt. She doesn't really believe it, but the seed is planted there. And now I'm looking for these things when I'm in my sessions with Tony. And we, of course, there are not that many sessions left. We know there are not a lot of episodes, but I think that this was a great scene to set up for other scenes in the last 2 episodes.
Oh, absolutely. This is definitely the early setup. Another note, the actor, that's his actual real water bottle that he carried on set, and they wrote it into his character, which is just super funny.
He looked like he used that water bottle in real life.
Yeah,
like who has a net water bottle with a plastic water?
And that's supposed to be like a deeper meaning, kind of like that speaks to like you anyway, I'm not gonna go there because for time constraints, but yeah, that was like his real water bottle. They used to see him drinking, so they thought it'd be a great addition to his character, which it is. Tony pulls up on Coco and knocks his teeth out. And this is the most violent
curb stomp.
Bro, this is the most violent scene probably this in season 1 when he choked out Febby with his bare hands. Like,
y'all know where they got this from, right? The one movie.
American History X.
Yep. Making nigga bite the curb and kick the back of his head.
That is the most. I mean, every time I see it, it just looks so painful.
Yeah.
Nigga. Like every time I see this, my mouth hurt looking at this, bro. Like, golly.
That's probably the worst thing you can do to somebody besides like just shoot him, kill him.
Yeah, like that on a physical. Yeah, that was crazy. Like,
not the worst.
Did he deserved that? Not the worst, you're
right. What? No,
he deserved
right. No, he didn't deserve it. He deserved worse.
Agreed.
How
I say he did, and I just say he deserved worse because stop playing with me. You know who I am, bro. Like the fact that you had the audacity to go in there and do that to my daughter, when she don't feel safe outside, when she on a date, you lucky I ain't blow your fucking brains out.
My thing would be like, how old is your daughter?
They don't fucking matter, nigga. the fact that you were comfortable, like the fact, and this is what Tony, this is a great thing here in this scene. This is what Tony really realizes, that he's in trouble. This is what he realizes, oh, they talking shit about me over here.
Mm-hmm.
And they not just talking shit about me in the sense of Jersey's just a glorified crew. They talking shit about me like, oh, they think it's sweet out here. Niggas think that they can pull up on my daughter, talk crazy. Like, nobody niggas, too. Not Phil, not his man's one-eyed Jimmy, not none of them. Coco.
It's crazy.
Coco, a nigga like
goodness gracious.
A nigga who I barely know this dude's name. Like Tony said, he's a nobody. This nigga feels like that he can go get this off on my daughter. Oh, it's wartime. It's wartime. Because there's no respect being given to my name in those rooms over there.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna curb stomp him. I'm gonna let you know that I'm not playing, and then we'll deal with the repercussions from there.
Yeah. And he pulled the strap and he put a gun out on Butchie too. Like, hey, listen.
Butchie bitch ass, man. He ain't gonna do shit.
Yeah, he like, bro, he just
I would have smacked the shit out of Butch. I would have smacked the shit out of him just off the string.
Yeah, just because you knew you was with him.
Yeah, I might have smacked him with the pistol.
No, straight up. We already here, so yeah, you get.
Because we already here now. We broke.
I've been wanting to do
just because you right here.
We broke.
Just because you right here.
We broke.
I'm gonna fuck your other. I'm gonna fuck your other eye up.
Yeah.
Now, nigga, what you look like?
What's your life like?
Yeah, nigga, now you can't see it all.
Golly,
playing with me.
That's crazy.
Hey, you said, "What's your life like?" That just reminded me, man. I've been spending Spike Lee, Memphis Bleak shit. That nigga been ignoring the fuck out of me.
You know that nigga
that nigga sent me a me clip. I scroll right past that motherfucker.
Like, he don't do the laughing emoji. He literally left that shit red on. He left that shit on scene. Like, nigga,
bro, that's who I learned it from. I learned it from him. So now I just do that. I'm like, all right, I took that straight out of the Spike Lee book. I started doing that. Like, all right,
I'm sitting like, damn, I'm like, damn, Spike can't respond. That shit say seen 3 hours ago. Like, nigga, fuck you. Stop sending me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's it. And no further conversation. Like, I learned that from him. So I started. No extra, no reaction, nothing. Like, all right, I'm gonna start hitting them back.
That's
one
of my favorite things ever, man. I get weak every time, man. Shit, man. I'm not. This isn't even worthy of my response.
Yeah, like it's literally a double click. Like,
playful or not, like I'm not even acknowledging this. Even if I think it's funny, I'm not acknowledging this shit.
Yeah,
we both know this some bullshit. I know that you know this some bullshit, and I'm not saying nothing else about it,
bruh.
That's just hilarious.
I ain't gonna say it no more.
That's funny.
We get AJ session. It's useless, but I just think, like I alluded to earlier, it just shows us that Tony literally does the same thing, but we don't mind it as much. Like what AJ's complaints is and all that, Tony does the same thing, and that's about all I got for this scene.
And it's reminiscent of the college episode when he goes to therapy and has like the blood on him or whatever, just like he got a tooth in a cuff right here. Was that college when he went to therapy and had a tooth or something, like blood was up on his pants? Y'all remember what I'm talking about, right?
Exactly
maybe all happy families or.
Yeah, like this.
It was something, but yeah, it definitely was like Oh, college, the dirt on the shoes from you talking about when he took Meadow to the the dirt on the shoes. Yeah, like how his family bleeds into his family, you know, so to speak. That's pretty good, Spike. Good callback. But yeah,
she said in the end, your friends and your family let you down, and you die in your own arms. It's all a big nothing.
Callback. Great callback. And that's got to be a haunting thing as a kid. He was a kid when he heard that and like never stopped thinking about that. So it's pretty deep. That's about it on this session though.
Tony, hey man, the look on Tony's face in this next scene is hilarious.
Okay. Oh man. So Patsy and Tony talk briefly about, you know, obviously their kids dating, and he's like, hey, we should do dinner, you know, cookouts, whatever. Then Carmine comes over to have a conversation because obviously he's trying to be the one to make it right. Carmine says his daughter had anorexia. Then in the same breath says it's not a serious problem. Only little Carmine, bro. Only little Carmine. But Tony broke his oath again. It shows that Chris, you know, like I said, I to each his own, but in my opinion, I think Chris was right about the guys not. Well, Chris was right about the guys not keeping their oaths. Like when he told that to Juliana when they was in the cafe, they broke up. He told her like, man, guys not even keeping their oaths. You know, they do this. They give you a drink in your right hand and they backstab you in the, like that. What Chris was saying is this is definitely echoes that. And then of course Phil too, like, you know, guys not even getting their fingers pricked, like them not honoring, you know, this thing of there. So just seeing that all come out here. But Lil Carmine trying to protect his investment. Obviously he got a connection within all of these transactions. Anything y'all want to add to this scene?
Shit getting real, man. Carmine pulled up and just told him, like, to the point, like, this is what you got to do. You got to make this shit right. It's almost echoes what you were saying at the beginning of the episode, Mo. Like, at some point, you got to bend the knee. But this is more so because of what Tony did. Carmine would have never showed up if that Coco incident never took place.
That's true.
It would have let them sort that shit out. But this is now you taking away all your leverage. Now you got to bend, and you got to give up, and you got to pay the 25%.
Yeah, this was a end at the end of things type of move too. Like Tony said, I would have had the support too if I had killed him. Then you should have did that. Like you started playing, you was playing chess, but then you started playing checkers. I understand the emotion, and we talked about what we would have did also if that was our daughter. But there's a better way to handle that as a boss of a family. Niggas have gotten killed for much less.
Oh man, over a horse.
And yeah, I could have put a hit out on Coco, and it would have happened that way, and nobody would have never known.
Yeah.
But me and my satisfaction of the situation of knowing that you fuck with my daughter, you thought it was sweet because they saying my name crazy over in New York, and I put the hit on you and got killed. But I started playing checkers and had to pull up on you and do it myself. I'm a boss. I don't do this. Like there's just nothing that I should have even been involved with. But again, we understand it because it's his daughter, and temper's got the best of him. And I think that's what Lil Carmine coming to say, like, bro, you can't have, like, famous Wire quote. You already know what I'm gonna say, Rich. You want it to be one way.
One way, but
it's the other way.
It also, it's like they say when you younger or when you were a teenager and you out past curfew, or your curfew midnight. There's no point of coming in at 12:15.
Yeah, I might stay out the two.
You might as well stay out till 2, 3 in the morning.
I'm already in trouble.
Yeah, you're already in trouble.
The house party.
We did that so many.
If this is about to spark a war, you might as well murk him.
Hey, if I'm gonna get in trouble for getting in late, bro, I ain't coming in at 12:30. I'm coming in at 2:30, nigga.
If I'm getting the same results, even though obviously if he killed Coco, it would have been a much bigger. There wouldn't have been no meeting with Phil or whatever. It would have been up. But that's what ends up happening anyway.
Like it could have.
But that's what would happen anyway. Like as we see in the next episode. So fuck it. I might as well just take it there, man, because this nigga violated.
Yeah. I'm gonna tie these.
Y'all will always remember the day that y'all thought it was cool to fuck with my family.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm gonna tie these last three scenes together. Tony and Melfi have a session, and he talks about his trip on peyote. Tony and Carmine visit Phil, but Booksy says Phil ain't taking no visitors, and then Phil yells out the window, And then lastly, AJ watching TV. Tony comes with a
shit
pizza.
back to Jersey.
Huh?
Take that shit back to Jersey, nigga.
You cocksucker. And then Tony and AJ is watching TV, and Tony brings him a pizza to the center, but he can't bring it in. And then, yeah, so out of those three scenes with Tony and Melfi, Tony and Carmine trying to visit Phil, and AJ and Tony, what do y'all gather? What do y'all want to highlight before we get out of here?
I like the Phil, Carmine, and Tony scene. I like that Tony was willing to concede that he'd fucked up, so I'm gonna go have a conversation with Phil because I recognize the dynamics here and see what he has to say, even concede to the 25%, and I didn't want to. But it goes to what we were saying earlier, like, nah, nigga, it's up. That 25% ain't even enough no more. I don't even fuck with you in the sense of like, y'all get the fuck off my stoop, nigga. I don't even know why y'all came over here to talk to me. So I love Phil's position right here in the sense of like, nah, you ain't got now. You had a little bit of leverage. Now you ain't got no leverage. You came over here, you fucked with my mans, you put him in the hospital, almost killed him. I don't even know why you came over here to talk to me. Only reason I talked to Lil Carmine was out just to probably try to feel out where you was coming from with it. Y'all get the fuck away from my house. It's up. I don't want to talk to y'all no more. I'll respect the Phil for this.
Yeah.
And he did the Seth Green. Like, nigga, meet me here. Oh man, I told you to meet me here. I was there earlier, but now I ain't. Made him come all the way. He made him come all the way to his crib just to tell him, oh nah, never mind, I ain't seeing nobody. And to your points, you mentioned, Spike, that Tony conceded. I also love how quick Tony was like, man, fuck this.
Fuck this shit.
As soon as I realized y'all playing, man, I'm out of here. Like, yeah, fuck this, bro. We ain't about to sit here and beg to get in this house and have a conversation, man. Let's go, Carmine. Carmine was still trying to be like, come on, Uncle Philly, man. Uncle Philly, my
Uncle
ass,
Philly
bro.
is crazy.
Fuck Uncle Philly, nigga. I don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah, Uncle Philly's not wild, bro.
Nigga,
you tried to murk me, bro, when we was battling.
And
when we was warring for this spot.
It's a beautiful cap on this episode for him to, like, they spent a lot of time with AJ. They spent a lot of time with mental health in this episode. But to take that break and to have the Phil New York interaction to show like business is still business. Even though I'm dealing with a son that's trying to kill himself, even though I'm dealing with depression, even though I'm dealing with my wife doubting my depression, I'm still dealing with a potential fucking war with the biggest mafia conglomerate in the world, New York City. I still have to process all that and go in here and comfort my son. That's what this show is about. That last scene right there where he trying to take the pizza in there and he trying to do this, and we just seen him leave Fieldhouse and he knows what's next. He knows a war is next. But I still got to go over here and console AJ. Fucking brilliance.
Ain't no PTO in the mob.
Nah, ain't no PTO, baby. I got to show up.
Yeah, you're right.
Brilliance.
Yeah, and that is our episode, man. But before we get out of here, of course, we like to leave with rankings. So without further ado, Spike Lou, how do you rank this episode? Is it a good earner? Is it just another envelope, a good earner, or a made episode?
I ain't even gonna have no suspense. It's a good earner.
Oh. Why not?
Excuse me, made. I'm sorry, made. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's
I'm
made.
sorry. It's a made episode. It's a made episode.
I was sure about it. I was ready to hear what
I misspoke. It's a made episode.
Okay.
Damn, USC lost.
What about you, Rich? You still standing
made.
On?
Absolutely, made episode, 100%.
It almost didn't make made for me. I ain't gonna lie. It almost didn't, just because AJ led storylines are always, we've done this so many times that it's like a lot of times it don't hold up, but it's a lot of beef. Pause. It's a lot of tension set up between New York and New Jersey here that is really good, and we get one of my favorite scenes. I just love that Phil Leotardo scene. Like, I got the ups on you, and it's up. Whatever you want it to be. We got the resources, we got the guns, we got the paper. What you want to do? You know, see where I'm going with this? So, made episode for me as well. Spike Lou.
Talking about, man. And I know we finished
well,
it.
I guess
and
that's
I know
it.
The next
Because
two,
this
I know
is
the next two, man.
this is the one that if anyone was going to fix your 5
It would have
in
been
a
it.
row,
Yeah,
this would have
been it.
been the one. So yeah, we already know the next two are guaranteed. All right, Spike Lou, who gets the good earner chain?
Good earner chain for this episode. I gotta go with Phil, man. I'm standing on fucking business.
Yeah.
All that little buddy shit you was doing with Johnny, all that little buddy shit that you was doing Carmine scene, like it ain't none of that no more, bro. You finna kiss the ring or you finna feel the wrath. Like you choose what you want to do. I ain't playing no games with you no more. I respect it.
That's really good, bro. Rich.
Coco.
A good earner?
Yep. Coco should have got killed. The fact that Coco still has his life makes him a good earner. No, seriously, like that
is crazy.
Coco was a good
that.
earner because he should have been left in that restaurant. The next thing should have been people coming in with the bag to zip his ass up and get him up out of there. Like the fact that you did not die over that bullshit that you pulled, like you were a good earner in my book. Like straight up.
It's just gonna be super left, but I gotta go. I'm going Patsy Parisi.
That's a good one. I like that.
That's a good one.
Because Patsy, the internal, like this is the same dude that told you I need to hear it. I need to hear you say it. I put the grief behind me. I need like the petty of him doing it, knowing you whack my brother, and like now to know like my son has your daughter's a freak. Like understanding like, oh yeah, this is like one of those wink, I got a one up on you, nigga. Like I love like Patsy, like that slick. He was excited about it. I don't know. It's something there. I don't know the full internal thought, but like it's something there that Patsy gets a real joy out of on Tony. So I'm gonna go Patsy Parisi on this.
That's a good one.
Like it.
Broken Balls Award. Who gets that for you, Spike Lou?
Broken Balls Awards for me goes to slow hanging fruit. I gotta go Carmella.
Oh wow.
I ain't like her performance in this episode, how she dealt with the depression of her husband and her son trying to kill himself. Like it was so disappointing.
Okay. Who gets the Broken Balls for you, Rich?
I can't say AJ because he's really going through some shit.
There is something you could say about AJ to give him broken balls, though.
Yeah, he got too much shit going on.
That's being successful.
Pick him in that way. I'm going with Melfi. Going with Dr. Melfi, man, because she finally it comes to a head of what actually is going on. She's known this whole time. Which is why when Spike said it earlier, I'm like, that's insane to know that you finally come to grips with the fact that Tony's been using you. But yeah, just hearing it and realizing like, oh, this dude really has been becoming a better gangster because of therapy. So yeah, I'm giving it to Melfi. That aha moment.
Gotta go Coco, bro.
Fair.
Alive or not, you might as well not the way your grill about to look. Like you ain't getting the like white set that we see celebrities get now. They get the new set of teeth. Like you ain't getting that back. You know what I mean, bro? The way yeah, and like to just know that like, bro, how could you ever be an enforcer after that? You'll never be an enforcer again. You let a nigga put your mouth on a stoop and knock your teeth out with the back of his foot. You'll never be an enforcer again.
Yeah, you gotta get a whole new set. New set, all of them, like not just one or two, like the whole shit,
bro. That's what I'm like, dude. Listen, nah, bro. You got to
tell me shit.
Mr. Burns going on. And favorite quote from the episode, Spike Lou.
I remember when you want to talk about sacrifice. I remember when I wanted Monogatari had to eat grilled cheese. Excuse me, you want to talk about compromise? I remember I wanted Monogatari and had to eat grilled cheese. I remember I wanted to have sex with a woman, had to jack off in a fucking napkin. That's the quote.
See where I'm going here?
See where I'm going?
Yeah, don't get it.
See where I'm going is really
that's the stamp on it. And it's like how he kind of grit his teeth a little bit. Like, you see where I'm going?
Legendary,
bro. Gosh, feel compromised speech. What about you, Rich? What's your favorite quote?
That's the answer. So I'm gonna go with my Melfi and Tony were talking, and Melfi said maybe he knew the rope was too long. And Tony said, or he could just be a fucking idiot. Historically, that's been the case.
Just being.
Sometimes the funniest shit is the most truthful. Like, my son is such a fucking idiot that he can't even unalive himself properly.
Yeah, he can't get his stuff. Yeah,
he can't even take himself out of here. Like, so I just
All right. Well,
in a moment, who would think of something like that? Who would think to say that except for Tony?
Only Tony. Yeah, you're right. Let me get this situated. Mine's is coming from a Melfi and Tony session as well, actually. Get this right. Boom. It's Tony says, our mothers are the bus. They're the vehicle that gets us here. They drop us off and go on their way and continue their journey. The problem is we keep trying to get back on the bus instead of just letting it go.
That was great.
That was so great. And even Melfi, she was like, wow.
Even Melfi was like, man,
blown away. And she's sitting, and that kind of goes to the point that Elliot was saying, like, so to speak, like, he know more than you think. Like, you got him on a grade A tier of information, like how he understands stuff. So yeah, anyway, but that's another conversation. But like, yeah, like, so that was like, he's like, don't act so freaking surprised. Like, and lastly, this is gonna be interesting. What's your favorite moment of the episode, Spike Lou?
Tony getting revenge, and going to kick Coco ass.
Kicking his teeth out, boy. Rich.
That's my favorite moment, but the actual best scene is Tony when Jersey goes to New York, and we get the famous compromise scene. That's it. That's the scene of the episode.
It is though. Tony and Phil. For me, I'm gonna go with the AJ boxed attempt.
That's a good scene too.
Just because it's the aftermath of like how quickly the emotions change. What's wrong with you? And it's like, but baby, it's okay. It's okay. Like how quickly it switches as a father. It's like, bro, that scene will always almost get a tear out of me. Because anyway, but that scene will almost always get a tear out of me because how quickly you have a grown ass child, but he becomes a baby in that moment to you. That's like real, bro. And that is our episode, man. We thank y'all for tuning in. Truly, we got 2 more to go as far as these episodes go. What will we do next? You got to stay tuned and see. But in the meantime, in between time, thank y'all for tuning in. And remember, don't forget about it.